Is heating, cooling, and insulation. Get a free air scrubber and breathe healthy indoor air when you replace your HVAC system. Plus, you may qualify for rebates up to $2,600 and 0% financing up to 72 months. For a free estimate, aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Happy Monday. Welcome back here to 97.1 FM Talk. We're glad to be with you this afternoon here on the Annie Fry Show. I want to dip straight into what has just occurred within the last, maybe 30 minutes tops, but the president is speaking in Memphis. There's that task force, the one where they were going into different cities and trying to clean up crime. That was something that was really invested heavily in at the early part of President Trump's administration. And so they're in Memphis to give an update on making America safe again. So President Trump is sitting here at a skirted table, the seal of the President of the United States sitting right in front of him. To his left, Attorney General Pam Bondi. To his right, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. And I just want to give you an opportunity because earlier today, this morning, late last night, there was wind that Iran is ready to come to the table. That we are in a position right now where the peace negotiation part of this war that is 3 weeks old in Iran, it's possible, the door has been cracked, that maybe we could be getting to a resolution here. Now, a lot of people are very excited about that, obviously. And the president sitting down initially and immediately said that he wanted to speak to Operation Epic Fury.
What? Operation Epic Fury. I love that name. And it's very appropriate for what's taken place, if you know, in Iran, because we knocked out their Navy. We knocked out their Air Force. We knocked out their anti-aircraft. We knocked out everything. And we did it with fury, actually. As I announced earlier, based on preliminary conversations between the United States and Iran over the past 2 days, I've directed the Department of War to temporarily postpone planned strikes against major energy and electricity targets in Iran. They have very, very big, new, actually, and very expensive, billions of dollars it costs to build them. One missile, one of our powerful ones, and it comes down to the ground like it was made out of dust. But to determine whether a broader agreement can be reached, we've had very good discussions, very, very good discussions. And you have to understand, I know my whole life has been a negotiation, but with Iran, we've been negotiating for a long time. And this time, they mean business. And it's only because of the great job that our military did is the reason they mean business. They want to settle, and we're going to get it done, I hope. So hopefully this will be possible, but no matter what, we'll ensure that Iran never obtains a nuclear weapon. They can't have a nuclear weapon. They would have had one if we allowed the Obama deal to stand. That was the Iran nuclear deal, they called it. They would have had one. Marcia 3. Well, I'll tell you what, Martha, we would have nuclear weapons up there when, would you say, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or 4 years ago? We would have been in a position that nobody wants to be in. We won't allow ourselves to be in that position.
President Trump speaking there from Memphis about the situation at hand, which is essentially they have done what they went there, what they committed to do, which is to incapacitate Iran's ability to strike, to especially levy a nuclear attack against the United States of America, among any other place. And they've been pretty successful in doing that. So here you have some updates on that have been developing today, and I think it's important to stay up to speed on this. We're going to speak at 1:30 with expert Dr. Jacob Olidort, who is the Chief Research Officer and Director of American Security at America First Policy Institute. Wonderful man to have a conversation with about this. So we'll get the latest, and you and I both are aware that between now and a little like 80 minutes from right now, things could change. Certainly, we could see that happen within the course of the show today. So we will keep you abreast of this issue. The Fox News report says Trump postponed strikes on Iranian energy infrastructure amid constructive talks to end war. He was saying earlier today in a discussion that was, I think he was getting ready to board Marine One, probably getting ready to come to Memphis. He said that they have the next location that they are looking to target is their energy fields. And he was saying it will cost billions of dollars to rebuild the energy fields that they have out there. And he said, it's just one button. It's just one click and we're destroying the whole thing. And we're ready to do it. He basically says, we're out there. We're in a position where we can do that. We could do that right now, but we thought we'd wait. So this 5-day pause is now put in place. And we can sit and wait this week to see if those negotiations will actually materialize into potential peace. Fox News reports Israeli defense forces say they carried out strikes in the heart of Tehran on Monday as President Donald Trump announced constructive talks with Iranian leaders. The IDF says its strike hit, quote, terror regime targets, but did not offer further details. Trump on Monday postponed U.S. strikes on Iranian power plants and other energy infrastructure after announcing very good and productive talks with Iran leaders. We've talked a lot about the timeline from day one of this occurring when you woke up and you found out, oh my gosh, we are in partnership with Israel. We're going all in Iran. We're ending the threat in Iran. And as you sit and you observe what the United States was capable of doing, and then you see with each passing day, they were able to go further and further. Again, I'll speak with the expert, Dr. Olidort, about this at 1:30, but I was reading yesterday about the kind of helicopters that are very precision strike helicopters that are flying through Iran in case there's anything that needs to be taken care of. You don't ever send these types of helicopters into battle if there's any sort of air threat. And we're just able to do that right now because we do have complete and total air superiority. When this initially happened, they said this isn't going to be another forever war. This is 4 to 6 weeks, but we're running ahead of schedule. Do you remember those words being said? Running ahead of schedule. And we are 3 weeks in. And President Trump is now saying that this week is a turning point, potentially, if Iran so chooses, that this could get wrapped up, that peace could be on the other end of a few days' time. I think that's very exciting, but trust but verify, certainly. One of the questions that I will ask Dr. Olidort at 1:30 is, when we are negotiating, who is it that we are negotiating with? Because there are waves and waves of taking out the newfound leadership of the Iran regime. And if we're taking them all out, who are we negotiating with? If we're negotiating with Group A that says they're in charge, if 2 weeks later Group B decides they're in charge and they take out Group A, then do we have to start from square one? I don't know. I'm not an expert. I just want peace and I want to get there as fast as possible, but I don't want it to be a faux peace. It has to be conclusive, and we have to continue to see, obviously, our allies that are very patiently waiting for the victory to be at hand so they can jump in and say, we're with ya. But also those Middle Eastern countries that we don't traditionally see not joining the other side, but even offering different levels of support for the United States. There is an interesting, strange new bedfellows alliance taking place. There's a potential shifting of all of the furniture in the room, and we'll get to the bottom of it with Dr. Jacob Olidort at 1:30. Congressman Darin Hood is going to be with us here in 5 minutes. And he is on, Brad, you were talking about how he's on the House Intel Committee. So last week, in conjunction with Iran war, we went there, we attacked, we held nothing back. We did it with American gusto, you might say. Maybe you wouldn't say gusto. Bravado, maybe? Because that's not even English. Is anything, what is our word? With American toxic masculinity. I just made people mad. Sorry, I was just trying to come up with like, what's the most American, like, what do you call it when you go win a bar fight in a rural area and then you line dance afterwards? I don't know, whatever that was. That's how we have gone into Iran and shown them who's boss without the opposition of essentially anybody willing to stand up and say, you're going to need to stop. In the world, which means that the threat, we've also noticed, I should add in the previous conversation we were just having here, that we have now been able to measure some of those missiles that Iran is flying off there. They're a lot longer. They're a lot farther distance than what they had previously communicated that they had as far as capacity to strike in a long range. They had I don't know. Are you shocked by this? Iran wasn't completely and totally honest and upfront with the capabilities that they had. While we are doing this, we're looking at home and we're assessing the threat situation that exists domestically. And so last week, there was a House Intel Committee hearing, and Congressman LaHood of Illinois' 16th District, around Peoria, was in that hearing. So he's going to talk to us about what kind of threat assessment has been made and if we are at a capacity right now in our country to be meeting those threats with mitigation. So Congressman Darin Hood will be there. Plus, of course, the SAVE Act, TSA. Did you try to fly this weekend? Are you a spring breaker? Did you throw in the towel and say you're not even going to worry about it? Congressman Darin Hood will be with us in just a minute. The YouTube live chat poll for today: are Americans still facing affordability concerns? If you go to youtube.com/@AnnieFry, you'll be able to vote in that poll, and you can text us as well at 314-241-9797. We'll speak to our friend Congressman Darin Hood in just a few minutes.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholz with Kaufman Townsley, and here's one of our clients.
The team at Kaufman Townsley really goes above and beyond to take care of their clients and secure them the justice they deserve.
Injured? Call 314-777-7777.
When's the last time you gave your home's exterior a little love? Hi, it's Kim, and if your siding is cracking, it's fading, or just doesn't stand up to our St. Louis weather, it's time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design, because they're experts in James Hardy siding, which is this durable, low-maintenance option, and it looks beautiful. Plus, you have customizable colors and textures, and so you can give your home a completely new look while protecting it for decades. Don't wait until the small problems turn into big ones. Visit lakesidearty.com to schedule your free consultation.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Iran sleeper cells there could be inside the U.S. right now.
I have been, and a lot of people came in through Biden with this stupid open border. But we know where most of them are. We've got our eye on all of them, I think.
Is it dozens?
They came in through the open border policies of Sleepy Joe Biden, one of the worst president in the history of our country. And we've got our eyes on all of them. But the war itself is being prosecuted at a level that nobody's seen before.
President Trump speaking about the threat of sleeper cells here in the United States and saying that the United States does have their eye on all of them, but we're still sitting on the edge of our seats ensuring that we do have, even especially in the midst of a shutdown where there are those individuals trying to fly right now and the lines, hours and hours of lines at TSA. Is our country as safe and secure as we need it to be? Let's speak with our friend Congressman Darin Hood back on with us. He's Illinois' 16th District Representative in the House of Representatives, as well as a member of the Ways and Means Committee and House Intel Committee and the Select Committee on the CCP. Congressman LaHood, thank you for being with us today.
Annie, great to be on with you. Always good to be with you and your listeners.
Well, we're grateful for you as well. Can you talk to us about the Intel Committee hearing that you had last week? What do Illinoisans and Missourians here in the bi-state region, what do they need to know about what is at the behest of the United States of America right now when it comes to domestic threats?
Yes, Annie. Last week we had what's called our worldwide threats hearing, which is a public hearing with all of our intelligence principals to go before the American people and the Congress. So we had John Ratcliffe, the head of the CIA. We had Kash Patel, the head of the FBI. We had Tulsi Gabbard, the head of the National Intelligence Committee. And then we had the leader of the NSA and the DNI on there. So the 5 principals were there. Obviously, this is an opportunity to talk about our adversaries out there, whether that's China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, and others, and to really make the public aware in a public setting on what we should be concerned about. So we had that hearing last week. Obviously, there's a lot of concern about what's currently going on with the Iran conflict. And as you alluded to in the opening of this segment, we're always concerned about lone wolf attacks. Listen, there is nothing that came up last week in that hearing that shows that America is in jeopardy or harm of being attacked. However, you can never underestimate lone wolf attacks or terrorist sleeper cells that are in place. We have the best military. We have the best intelligence services. We have men and women that are dedicated to protecting this country, and thank God we do. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't be on guard, particularly with what's going on with the conflict in Iran now. And so we had that hearing last week, and obviously we got to remain vigilant. And the first way to do that is to fund the Department of Homeland Security. Remember, the Department of Homeland Security was created after 9/11 to protect our citizens. And I have voted 3 times in the House to fund the Department of Homeland Security. Unfortunately, Chuck Schumer and the liberal Democrats continue to play games with the American people, which is ridiculous.
Absolutely. Congressman Darin LaHood speaking with us right now. Can we talk a little bit about the shutdown? Just to set the table from the very start for people who are starting to pay more attention. Maybe they've seen some of the TSA situations in airports across the country, and they're asking themselves, how did we get to here right now? Why is it that this part of the government isn't funded at this point?
So we, in January, in the House and Senate, we funded 11 of our 12 appropriations bills, which makes up 96% of the government. And we did that by cutting spending and passing these bills. Done. The 12th of those 12 appropriations bills is the Department of Homeland Security, which is 4% of the federal budget. But that includes agencies like TSA, which of course are our airport screeners, also includes FEMA, the Coast Guard, and the funding for ICE. And we were about ready to pass this bill. I supported it, voted for it. Even some Democrats did. And then we had the death that happened in Minneapolis, and the Democrats went crazy, and then they started putting all these contingencies in place and asking for just a complete defunding of ICE and really requests that make no sense at all and would jeopardize our security in the United States. And so now they've refused to cooperate and have voted like literally 10 times in a row not to fund Department of Homeland Security. And that's the situation we're in. And I worry how much pain can the American people take at our airports. Now, thank God that President Trump made the announcement that ICE officers are going to come into our airports and help and assist with our TS agents that aren't getting paid. I think that's a good move. But we need to fund the Department of Homeland Security. And God forbid if something happened in the United States because the Democrats refused to vote for it.
Yes, 100%. Darin LaHood speaking with us right now, Congressman from Illinois' 16th District. I want to ask you here before we have to let you go. I feel like it's starting to crack maybe a little bit because I hear some pundits on there that are that are in discussions in media from place to place, supposed to be representing the Democrat side. They say it's time for both parties to come to the table, which for me is interesting because that implies that they may think that the Democrats might also need to come to the table. Can you explain to me, Congressman LaHood, what Republicans would have to give up in order to appease the Democrats in this DHS government shutdown with the Democrats right now?
Well, what they're asking for, again, they keep moving the goalposts, and they've done that consistently. And so they want a complete defunding of ICE, which is off the table. It's not going to happen. Now, to his credit, President Trump and a number of us in the Republican Party have said we're willing to compromise. For instance, they said they wanted body cameras on ICE agents. We've agreed to do that. again, I think that's good for transparency. It's good for law enforcement that we have those cameras. So that's been agreed to. Secondly, we've agreed to pull some of our ICE agents out of some of our urban areas. And I think that's been done, as a compromise measure, too. But what I'm not supportive of is demasking ICE agents. These ICE agents are on the front line. As you've seen, the radical left has taken the names of these individuals. They've put them on the internet. They've protested at their homes. They've gone after their family. We can't allow that to happen when these people are dealing with dangerous people that are felons, criminals that they're trying to apprehend and send back to their country of origin. That's off the table. I do think on the issue of warrants, which has become a big issue, we are a country based on the rule of law. And as a former state and federal prosecutor, I think we have to abide by the Fourth Amendment. I'm willing to compromise. And even President Trump has said on the warrant issue, we can put some new parameters or guidance in there. So my point on all of this, Annie, is we are compromising, but we can't afford not to fund our ICE agents, and that's what they're asking for now. And that simply, I think, again, goes against the impetus of why we fund DHS now.
Yeah. Well, Congressman LaHood, we're grateful for your time this afternoon. A lot of work cut out for everybody there on Capitol Hill. We hope we can get a resolution to this soon and that the everything can get opened back up again.
Yep, that's what we're going to try to do and keep going at it. So thank you, Annie.
Thank you,
Good
Congressman.
to be with you.
Talk to you again soon. We appreciate you. Illinois 16th District Representative, member of the House of the Ways and Means Committee, House Intel Committee, and the Select Committee on the CCP. When you hear them say that they continue to move the goalposts on this, it's definitely been my observation from when we're covering this, it's, okay, what do you want? And then you hear there, as we've just heard from the congressman, that the right side of the aisle ends up saying, okay, fine, we'll do body cameras. That's a reasonable idea. We'll do that. Even some compromise. That's the first I've heard anyone really talk about compromising on warrants. That seemed to be something that early on I wasn't hearing people who were saying, at least publicly, that they were willing to compromise on that. But I don't know if the Democrats, the dog that catches the car, I don't know that they would know what to do if they got a win. I don't know that they would understand it to be a win. I was under the assumption, it was just a thought that I think a lot of other people probably had simultaneously. When Kristi Noem got fired/promoted, it's all a matter of politics, isn't it? To the Shield of Americas. That's where she went. She's not protecting the homeland anymore. She's protecting the Western Hemisphere. She moved on, and Senator Markwayne Mullin was nominated to take over as Secretary of Department of Homeland Security. When that happened, I thought, well, gee whiz, this seems like an opportunity for the Democrats to do a song and dance about getting Kristi Noem canned, and then they can use that as an opportunity to say, this is what we got. This is what we did for you. That, and we've got cameras and a few other things that might be sprinkled in there. And they could position it as if they held out, they stood fast, and they won. Now, of course, the right would say something to the contrary, I'm certain, but the Republicans appeared, and the president, in removing Kristi Noem from the Department of Homeland Security. To me, it seemed like an obvious opportunity for the Democrats to use this as an opportunity to get past this and to get on to the next thing. They're completely disinterested in it. There were even comments that were made, saying, well, yeah, it's good that she's gone. That's all well and good, but it was not part of the issue at all. So do I commend the Democrats on not trying to just take a news story and make it their political victory? Or are they stupid for not having done that? I don't know. But if you're thinking about traveling here in the next 2-3 weeks, if you're thinking about going through an airport right now and you've got small children in tow and you're thinking about having to stand in a line, a 3-hour plus line to get to vacation, to get home from vacation, to get to a business meeting, to do whatever it is you need to do to fly in the sky, and you're looking at what TSA is experiencing right now, reports on Fox News this morning where they're discussing that several people said they got up to where they could see that they were scanning the bags. Not a single bag was pulled off that ramp, off the belt to look at. They're just moving everything through. When I go through TSA, they're looking through everything. It seems like they're constantly in an effort to try to ensure that everything is safe. I don't know which is the right way to do things, but it does strike some curiosity in my brain. as to whether or not we're moving people through just to get them through. It's a little unnerving. We'd love your thoughts on the issue. It was Governor Ron DeSantis posted on X over the weekend that TSA should be removed from the airport security situation entirely, and it should all be privatized. It didn't exist until we did not do these types of things, you remember, until after September 11th. Now you could say, but Annie, there was this little thing that happened there that made us go, we should probably do this differently. The airport security, I was doing some research on this, and we're going to get a legal expert to talk to us about this as soon as we can. The legal requirement is to enforce TSA security measures, but TSA officials do not have to be the ones who are doing it. So is it possible that we could use this as an opportunity to fully, completely explore privatizing the security that is available at each airport? And if you think that, I know there are people who be like, privatizing, that sounds terrible. Well, I know who you vote for if you think that. That's not the way that I generally think about it. Who is the most invested in ensuring that these airports are secure? The airports and the airlines that traffic in and out of them. I can't imagine that the privatization of security in that regard would end up causing us to be less secure. But then it would take this major trump card out of the hands of government, whoever's in charge of government at any given time, and remove their ability to try to bring the country to a shrieking stop for a political point that most people don't understand at all. I think it's worth exploring. Don't know the answer. Maybe it's the stupidest idea you've ever heard, possibly. But I am looking at all the options right now, and I think a lot of Americans are as well. Because this system where every time we get a close Congress, that they're able to do this type of damage to the American people with repercussions that could be even greater than inconvenience, I think we need to look into, do we need to do everything the way we've always done everything for the sake of doing it that way? I think no. We'll see if this spurs any new ideas, any new ways for people to travel. The YouTube poll for today, let's talk about it when we come back. Are Americans still facing affordability concerns? That big affordability word. President Trump doesn't like the word affordability. He's not a big fan of it. Are you facing affordability concerns? Yes, but rapidly improving, or no, I don't have any affordability concerns at all. Steve Moore will be with us at 1:05, and he's going to talk to us about the economy, the up and down, of course, of the stock market. I think when you are at war in Iran, everything's going to be a little more volatile. Gas prices have shot up. We'll see what Steve Moore says about this moment in time economically in the United States at 1:05. YouTube.com/@AnnieFry to vote in the live chat poll, and text us your thoughts at 314-241-9797. Back in a minute.
It's time for you to get to know my friends at Lit Cigar Lounge in Chesterfield, where luxury meets comfort. Mark Cox here. They have a great selection of rare bourbons, whiskeys, craft cocktails, anything you like to drink, cold beer, premium hand-rolled cigars from the finest makers in the world, even private lockers that are available if you choose to. Perfect for date nights or business meetings, and live music every Friday night. Family owned and operated. Check them out in Chesterfield at the District. It's litstl.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Over 35 years, I've seen it all. Car crashes, work injuries, defective products, medical mistakes, lives flipped upside down in an instant. But I've also seen something else, the power of fighting back, the power of winning. Over $30 billion recovered and counting. Size matters, reputation matters, results matter. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
License number GL250000615.
Hey, it's good to hear you.
Hey, Dad. Isn't it good to see ya?
Yep, but with smoke alarms, we need to hear them. If one alarm is downstairs, you might not hear it upstairs.
At school, everyone hears the fire alarm.
That's why we install hardwired smoke alarms that all go off together, just like school.
Smoke alarms done the right way.
Green is always grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
From Fox and Friends, The Brian Kilmeade Show, and One Nation.
This is not going to be a show that you're expecting.
An entertaining, inspiring night that brings history to life.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Kilmeade!
Brian Kilmeade, Uniting the States Tour.
Incredible. Like, I learned so much.
I love Brian.
Because we do watch him all the time.
Saturday, November 21st, The Factory. Get tickets now at thefactorystl.com. Brian Kilmeade.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Today's YouTube live chat poll. Are Americans still facing affordability concerns? Yes, but rapidly improving, or no. Those are your options. You can vote on Annie's YouTube page, youtube.com/@AnnieFry, or you can text us at 314-241-9797 and weigh in on the poll. We will be monitoring the text lines. The time is 12:34. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Built on backbone, not buzzwords. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Grateful to be with you this Monday afternoon. It's a beautiful Monday afternoon. It's just a little chillier than this weekend. Ethan sitting in here for Ryan Wiggins, who is out today. Hi, Ethan.
Hello.
Howdy.
How are you?
I'm all right. How much basketball did you watch this weekend?
All the basketball.
100%.
I watched all of the basketball. I was there at the Enterprise Center on Friday and Sunday for the first and second round games.
Any good games?
Unfortunately, the best game of the time in St. Louis was the one I couldn't be at, which is the one that you reacted to unintentionally.
I went back and watched that. I was in the middle.
Yeah, what did you do?
I was in the middle of talking about something like a little bit serious and heavy, especially. Was that Friday? That was Friday, right? For a Friday afternoon, I was talking about Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk and
yes.
There was a news story that came out that Aloe, the super high-end athleisure brand, somebody at Aloe went into their ticketing structure and their account management, found out that Erica Kirk spent $1,000 at Aloe the day after Charlie was shot, released that information to an influencer, and the influencer used it as proof that she wasn't mourning. Who goes on a shopping spree right after your husband is shot? Come to find out that one of the assistants, Erica Kirk's assistants, was with her. They found out Charlie was shot. They ran and got on a plane. They went to Utah. We all know what happened then. The next day, they came with the clothes on their back. They didn't have anything, so they went down the street to an Aloe and bought a bunch of clothes so that she would have clothes the day after her husband was shot. And she said she is the one who purchased the clothes. It was not Erica.
That's so ridiculous that you even have to defend yourself in that situation. That makes me so mad.
And
I know we weren't even talking about that, but that is so dumb.
It's an important story because all of these things that continue to bubble up about Erica Kirk, the initial reaction is, $1,000 at a high-end store, that's kind of weird. And then you realize, you hear the explanation, you're like, that makes 100% sense that you would have someone have to go buy you clothes when you had flown to Utah and you didn't have time to pack your clothes. It's infuriating. So I'm talking about this on the air, telling the story that had just been released. And up to my right, some CBS soap opera is on right now. These two are about to get close and intimate there. Ethan, how do you feel about that?
It's getting a little toasty in here.
Just turn around and watch the Fox News commercial behind you.
Right.
Is that was what was that?
That was
Emmett Smith.
Emmett Smith.
Yeah, he's getting hot and
even
toasty
hotter
over
now.
there. Yeah, I can't control myself. I'm talking about Erica Kirk. I'm going through saying whatever it is I'm saying, and I look up to my right. We were waiting for Kentucky to lose. We thought Kentucky was going to lose, and we were kind of watching. It was getting close. I just kind of gesture up to the boys in the room because Brad and Ryan were in here. I just like, hey, look up. Kentucky's about to lose. And then a logo buzzer shot banked off the glass into the net for overtime. And my jaw, I went back and watched it. There's a genuine shock on my face. But I stuck to it. I don't think you would have known on the radio that I got majorly distracted for a minute.
That was a pretty awesome moment. I wonder
if it shaved years off of Mark Cox's life because he was in the arena.
I got something to say about Mark Cox.
Say it right here. This is the place.
I was sitting next to Mark Cox for the
anytime
Kentucky
your
Iowa
story
State
starts
game.
like this, you just come on in.
I can tell you this much. Mark Cox does not ever need to be in the media have a media credential ever again.
Why?
Because he's a fan that sits in the media. Mark Cox was screaming and yelling.
Couldn't contain himself?
Whole game.
Did you tell him he had to stop?
I'm not going to tell Mark Cox he has to stop.
You're telling him right now, just publicly.
It was so funny. I'm sitting there and Mark Cox, anything good that happens, and he is getting all excited. He's getting hyped. He's, the Big Blue Nation is right behind us for the game yesterday.
Sound like it was right next to
So
you.
he is right there. He is right there in the mix. But something bad happens. There's a foul. Come on. Oh, that's terrible. Come on, you gotta rebound the ball. I'm like sitting there like, oh my god.
Like he's not
all
texting
these
me right now.
broadcasters are around us. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. It was cracking me up. But I got some good quality time with Mark Cox yesterday
Sounds
at the
like
Kentucky
it.
game. He did quiet down a little bit in the second half. It was a rough second half for Kentucky. They got beat pretty good by Iowa State. But, yeah, a lot of fun basketball over the weekend in St. Louis.
Are you telling me that Mark Cox wears his heart on his sleeve?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you. That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Ways.
I can't imagine what he was like when that half-court buzzer beater went in. I cannot imagine.
I texted him to make sure he was okay. And he sent me a gif of, I don't know what show it is. Do you guys, it's that old man. It's not.
Could be a lot of different shows. This is not happening.
I know.
This is not going to happen.
There's no way for me to
There's
respectfully
literally
explain
none.
it. I'll explain to you off the air what I was going to say.
All right.
And then you'll be like, that's why you didn't say it on the air. I'll find out who it is, and then we'll tell you when we come back for Ethan's America.
51,000 people in attendance over the weekend
That's
in
good.
St. Louis. It seats like 18,000, so I think the max would have been like 54.
How did the city show out? We didn't embarrass ourselves, right?
Not that I saw.
How'd the curfew work?
I guess pretty good. I didn't see a bunch of stuff going on, so
that's good.
Yeah, I'm happy that we didn't make ourselves look like the laughing stock of the country again.
I want to get to our YouTube poll here. We'll hit this throughout the course of the show just to line up for the rest of the day. In the 1 o'clock hour, we have Steve Moore right at the top of the 1 o'clock hour is going to talk to us about the economy. What's it like? We're dealing with an economy at wartime, but wartime, we were told, is a 4 to 6 week contract, and then we're done. And we're supposed to be running ahead of schedule. And then Dr. Jacob Olidort is going to be with us to talk about the war and if that time frame is still a reasonable expectation for Americans to have. But the poll I'm asking you for today, and I'd like to use this as an opportunity to lead into my question with Steve Moore at 105, is Are Americans still facing affordability concerns? If you want to text us your thoughts, Ethan is going to be checking the text line today to give us your feedback while Ryan is out. 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. Text us your thoughts. You can also, of course, vote at youtube.com/@AnnieFry in the live chat poll of the live broadcast. Brad, what do you think? Affordability concerns, you still facing them?
I think that it's rapidly improving. So I'm yes, but rapidly improving. I think that things have kind of stalled out with the Iran situation, but I would say for myself, I'm in one of the better financial situations that I've been in my entire life. So
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Mark Cox, who just texted me. It's Fred Sanford of Sanford and Son.
How was he on that song? That's so good.
That's him. He's holding his heart and putting his hand up in the air like, praise the Lord, I'm
hey,
still
Mark,
alive.
I had a great time with you yesterday. Yesterday was so much fun.
Mark, whatever text messages you send Ethan, will you just CC me on them? I'd like to
just start a group chat.
Just want to view, yes. Thank you. Fred Sanford, my apologies for being of a younger generation and not knowing who that man's name was.
I still don't know who that guy
When
is.
you see him, you'll know.
Okay.
YouTube poll, what do you think? Affordability? I'll let me answer it while you're thinking about it. I would say, I'm going to just say yes. I think Americans are still facing affordability concerns. With gas, Hannaford is in trouble. This just in.
Oh, God. It was a good run here at 97.1.
Gas is $3.69 at the gas station that the one that's right off of the Stan Musial Bridge coming in. And that's Missouri-priced gas for us Illinois people. I know it. If you go west, it's a lot cheaper. I'm not doing it. I'm buying my gas in Missouri for the most part. It's a hard trade-off, folks. In the state of Illinois, you can get gas there, but you don't get to keep your wallet. In Missouri, if I get it downtown, you don't necessarily get to keep your car. And I say that from experience because I was carjacked at the gas station.
Recently?
2012. Recently enough for me. $3.69 at that gas station coming in is $1 more than it was a few weeks ago.
You know what you got to do? You got to find a Sam's Club in Missouri. That's game on.
Yeah.
I am right now paying $3.39 for gas in Missouri because I'm a Sam's Club member. Cha-ching. Making that money.
Sounds like you're going to be pumping gas for Mark Cox here pretty soon.
Mark, I love you. Sorry. I had a great time with you.
I think that there still is an affordability issue. I think that for the administration to benefit from the economic policies, I see it. I get it. I understand it. I agree with it. I don't think that Main Street has felt it the way Main Street needs to feel it in order for President Trump and his administration to really get credit for it. I think that the things that this president has done economically is so transformative on such a wide scale that it could be course correcting the nation for a generation or two. But politics is all what have you done for me lately? And I could see the long haul and know that, oh my gosh, this versus the alternative, Kamala Harris be in charge of this right now? No, thank you. All of our money would be on pallets in Iran, and they'd be flexing and not doing whatever it is they're doing right now. You got any texts yet? 314-241-9797. Let's hit those up on when we come back. Ethan's America when we return. Ryan is out today. So we'll find out what's going on in Ethan's America when we return, and your text messages on the affordability issue. Do you think that there's still an affordability concern that you and Americans are facing? Text us at 314-241-9797 and vote in the poll on the live chat of the live broadcast on YouTube. Yes, but rapidly improving, or no. We'll be right back.
Jimmy Fallon in the house, and I cannot wait to see you finally, April 11th. Although we're not calling it a redo because we never did the thing in the first place. You can't have a sequel if you don't have an original. Get your tickets at 971talk.com/events.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Tax season is here, and Missouri families are already seeing the real impact of the Working Families Tax Cut Act. House Republicans are delivering real results for hardworking Missourians. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, the bill is projected to raise wages in Missouri by about $3,000 to $6,000 over the next 4 years. That's more money for groceries, gas, and greater security for your family's future. In Congress, I'm working to protect working families, strengthen our economy, and ensure you are keeping more of your hard-earned money.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
If you live in Missouri, have Medicaid, and need a caregiver, this message is important. Care at home is personal. That's why you may not want a stranger in your home to take care of you. You want someone who already knows you and your daily routines. With Freedom Care, you choose a trusted family member, a friend, or a neighbor. They will get paid after every shift to care for you, and it's 100% free to you. More than 70,000 people have already joined the Freedom Care family. Call your local Freedom Care. They'll check your Medicaid eligibility. Don't wait until a stranger shows up at your door. If you have Medicaid and need help at home, this care is available 100% free to you. Call Freedom Care now to see if you qualify. 314-343-1362. 314-343-1362. That's 314-343-1362.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Men, need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
If you can sense spring in the air, you're not alone. It's a perfect time to get Corel Roofing Company to come over and give you a free roofing inspection. Mark Cox here. You know, my friend Curtis has been at this a long time. Here's what he can do. If your insurance company has denied coverage for your roof, call Curtis. He specializes in working with insurance companies. You can get a second assessment from them, and often they're able to work with that insurance adjuster to find a way to get it covered. They are honest. They're going to give you a true evaluation of what's going on. Curtis is not going to overcommit on your roofing job. A lot of other companies do this. Curtis feels like quality suffers and customer service drops off. It's important to pay attention to details. Quality materials, quality workmanship. It's certainly what I got when Corel Roofing put a brand new roof on my house. Call 314-222-9529 right now. Tell them Mark Cox told you to call, or go to CorelRoofingCo.com.
Annie Fry is St. Louis conservative.
Wiggins. Oh, Wiggins.
Not Wiggins America, Ethan's America.
This is Mark Cox.
Ethan's America.
Well, I guess it's time for me to go ahead and talk about some stuff here. I'm so sad now that everyone's disappointed in me. But I'll have to continue on, won't I, Annie Fry? What is brought?
This is Ethan's America.
Oh, this is not. Oh, this is Ethan. Okay, never mind.
Annie, what are you doing over
I don't
there?
know. Ryan's gone. I don't know what to do. I was going to tell you need to say your sponsor.
Sheesh, no, I don't.
When you do,
I don't
your
have
segments.
a sponsor for this yet.
Why not, slacker? Message me at anniefryshow@gmail.com.
Yes, do that.
Okay, wait a second. Hear me out. If Ethan's America gets sponsored
Oh my
before Wiggins
gosh.
America.
Oh
my
my
goodness,
gosh.
it'd be amazing.
Please, somebody.
It'd be so good.
Give you a discount.
Well, this segment is just straight up better.
Okay.
It's the truth. Did you guys hear about what happened over the weekend? This is technically a Monday roundup.
Mm-hmm.
What happened over the weekend with Chappell Roan?
No.
Anyone?
Mm-mm.
Chappell Roan has been in the news.
That's a singer.
This weekend. She is, a very famous singer. I don't even know if you could call her up and coming anymore. She is one of the more popular artists, I would argue, in the world right now. And she actually is from Missouri. But she had a situation while performing at Lollapalooza in Sao Paulo over the weekend, there was a situation where a famous soccer player, Jorginho, he's played for some of the bigger teams in the world. I believe he's played for like Chelsea and some of the big teams. He's Brazilian. His wife and his stepdaughter had a run-in basically with Chapel Roan, and it did not go well. So he posted this long rant on his Instagram story that explains everything, and I just want to read through it here, okay? It says, I went through a very upsetting situation with my family earlier today. My wife is in Sao Paulo at Lollapalooza, Brazil. This morning, my daughter woke up incredibly excited. She even made a sign because she was so happy to see an artist she really admires or used to admire, Chapel Roan. She tagged him, or he tagged her. By coincidence, they're staying at the same hotel as the artist. During breakfast, the artist walked past their table. My daughter, like any child, recognized her, got excited, and just wanted to make sure it was really her. And the worst part is she didn't even approach her. She simply walked past the singer's table, looked to confirm it was her, smiled, and went back to sit with her mom. She didn't say anything. She didn't ask for anything. What happened next was completely inappropriate. A large security guard came over to their table while they were still having breakfast and began speaking in an extremely aggressive manner to both my wife and my daughter, saying that she shouldn't allow my daughter to disrespect or harass other people. Honestly, I don't know at what point simply walking past the table and looking to see if someone is there can be considered harassment. He even said he would file a complaint against them with the hotel while my 11-year-old daughter was sitting there in tears. My daughter was extremely shaken and cried a lot. He goes on to say, I've lived with football, public exposure, and well-known people for many years, and I understand very well what respect and boundaries are. What happened there was not that. It was just a child admiring someone. It's sad to see this kind of treatment coming from those who should understand the importance of fans. At the end of the day, they are the ones who build all of this. I sincerely hope this serves as a moment of reflection. No one should have to go through this, especially not a child. He then tags Chapel Roan again and says, without your fans, you would be nothing. And to the fans, she does not deserve your affection. This has been huge over the weekend. This post that I'm looking at that had this has 62 million views.
That's a lot.
And Chapel Roan has been getting absolutely obliterated online for this because apparently it's not the first situation where she's been very anti media, paparazzi, that kind of thing, which I understand. It's a tough balance, right? Being famous, you are always in the public eye, but it's also the trade-off that comes with having that life and choosing that life. There's been a lot more that's come out with this.
Will their careers be affected at all by this in
Chapel
a negative
Roan?
way?
I don't think so. The only I guess way in which it could be slightly affected right now for Chapel Roan is that the mayor of Rio de Janeiro was so upset that he tweeted and said, as long as I am in charge, she will not be allowed to perform in Rio. So she's currently banned from performing in Rio as a result of this. There's enough big places in the world, I imagine that's not that big of a deal. She'll probably be okay. But if you are to just search Chapel Roan on Twitter, they are having a heyday with this online. The memes are absolutely ridiculous comparing Chapel Roan. There's just all kinds of funny videos of people, throwing little fake dolls and stuff saying Chapel Roan to kids and stuff like that. They're having a heyday with it.
Steve Moore coming up next on the Annie Fry Show. Don't go away.
Refinancing, he has some great advice.
Mark, this is a great time to refinance. If you financed over the last 3 years, you're probably paying a higher rate. Take advantage now. Refinance with the Bagel loan. No closing costs, no title fees, no lender fees, nothing. Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. For those of you folks that are waiting on the sideline saying, hey, maybe the rates will go down more, I'm going to wait. Take advantage now. A bird in the hand's better than two in the bush. Refinance, get the cash out you need, get a lower rate, maybe even go from a 30 to a 20 year and keep that payment the same. all with the bagel loan.
This is a quick process, right?
We close in 10 days. We send a notary out to your house to close so you don't have to take off any time from work. It's easy. It's simple. Bing, bam, boom. Your home is the biggest investment you're going to make in your life. Deal with somebody local, somebody who has a reputation, somebody who has accountability. I'm here in town. You can call me or text me after hours, weekends, whenever it's convenient for you.
Call or text Stewie at 314-324-4440 or Google the Bagel Loan. NMLS number 226715.
HomeshieldFoundation.repairs.com. I want to encourage you to reach out to Matt Hayes and invite him to your home to see what's going on in your basement, get answers to, if you know exactly where the water's coming in, it's leaking in, or maybe it's just gotten progressively worse as the spring is setting in now. You want a solution with somebody you can trust. They're going to be in your home. They're going to be restoring the foundation of your home. You got to have somebody who is an expert, somebody who understands and has the experience to back it up, along with great customer service. You need to be treated right. Of course you do. Matt Hayes and Home Shield Foundation Repair, they completely understand that. When you call 314-271-9900, that's 314-271-9900, Matt Hayes is going to come assess the foundation concerns that you have and offer you a solution, one that you can rely on, one that he can, when he waterproofs that basement, give you a lifetime warranty on as well. 314-271-9900. Call Matt Hayes. Tell him Annie said hello. Find him online at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
You can feel the Clydesdales circling the field. Hear the stands come alive. Smell the hot dogs, the popcorn, and cold beer in the air. See the crowd rise as the first pitch hits the glove. And just like that, a new season begins. The countdown is on until opening day, and tickets start at just $49. Don't miss St. Louis's favorite holiday. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/opening day.
Swings, and it's a high fly ball. That's hit deep. It's a gunner! It's a gunner! And a game winner!
Start the season in style. On Saturday, March 28th, the Cardinals welcome the Tampa Bay Rays for a spring showdown downtown. That day, you can score a lightweight Cardinals pullover, a navy blue look built for early season nights, and easy everyday wear. Comfortable, classic, and ready for cool evenings at the ballpark. It's a layer you'll reach for all season long. Get tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Doubles down on Lisa Brady, Fox News.
So we are now having really good discussions.
Discussions between Iran and two U.S. envoys, which the president says began over the weekend, even though Iran's parliament speaker denied that in a social media post. President Trump says in a long history of talks with the U.S., Iran means business this time.
They want peace. They've agreed they will not have a nuclear weapon, et cetera, et cetera. But we'll see. You have to get it done. But I would say there's a very good chance. And it began when I said that we were planning tomorrow on shooting down some of their power plants, and we're going to hold that up. Hopefully we won't have to do it.
The president now giving Iran at least 5 days to avoid attacks on its energy infrastructure by releasing its grip on the critical Strait of Hormuz. The president speaking in Memphis at a roundtable event meant to highlight a federal crime crackdown in the city, where he also said Republicans should link a Homeland Security funding bill to new voter ID requirements.
The new ask from the president is for Republicans in the Senate to combine DHS funding with the Save America Act.
Because voter ID is part of Homeland Security. Think of it. We're talking about two separate items, but they're really the same.
The Save America Act would require proof of citizenship to register to vote, a photo ID at polling places, and restrictions on mail-in balloting. It is well short of the 60 votes needed to overcome a filibuster, and a DHS bill has stalled, triggering a funding lapse now into its 6th week.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Democrats want immigration enforcement reforms as part of a DHS spending bill. Democrats also criticizing the president's decision to send ICE agents to airports, helping with TSA staffing issues that have caused long security lines as a partial government shutdown continues. America is listening to Fox News.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Partly sunny skies as we go through our Monday afternoon. This is the coolest day of the week, 59. Tonight, some clouds going down to 42. Tuesday, sunny, 65 later on in the day on Tuesday after a chilly start. Wednesday, partly sunny, 74. Opening day on Thursday, partly sunny, almost hot. 89, 90 degrees. Should be a record breaker on Thursday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Time to schedule your air conditioner service. Get not just your AC, but your entire HVAC system checked for $19 a month with the Preferred Partner Plan. And be ready for the first heat wave. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ring.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
What is your message to the American people right now about what we can still do to bring gasoline prices back down?
There's things we can do on refinery efficiencies. There's a few more levers we have to pull there that we're looking at quickly. The goal, of course, is to get them down as quickly as possible. But my appeal to the American people is we've had 47 years of threats from Iran, which have artificially raised energy prices for decades. We're going through a short-term period of disruption right now, but the long-term benefits will be enormous. Think of years ahead and decades ahead for you and your children. You're going to see a much better world. You got to get through a few weeks of disruption, and we're doing everything we can to mitigate those disruptions.
Well, that's Energy Secretary Wright there saying short-term pains right now as energy prices go up. I just mentioned paid at $3.69 downtown St. Louis, right across the river from Illinois, so it's always a little higher there. But that's $1 more than it was a few weeks ago. Is this, in fact, short-term? Has the administration done what they need to do long-term to keep those energy prices low? Let's ask our friend Steve Moore, who's with us, co-founder of the Committee for Prosperity and host of More Money, author of The Trump Economic Miracle. Steve, thanks for being with us today.
Hi, Annie. Good to be with you.
Good to be with you as always. Energy prices are looking up. They've spiked. Do you think we're going to be here very long?
Oh, boy. I wish I knew the answer to that question. If I knew that, I'd be a rich person. Look, we had this morning, we got some good news where the oil price, which had gone up to about $105 a barrel, and by the way, it was about $60 when before we went into Iran, so almost a doubling of the price. The price came down to about $90, so that was a good thing, and it's caused a bounce in the stock market. But look, we got to get the Straits of Hormuz open because a lot of the oil flows through there. We got to keep producing as much oil and gas as we can here at home. In terms of drill, baby, drill. But look, I can't sugarcoat this. It's going to be the next couple of months are going to be tough. People are going to see higher prices, not just for gas, but for food and, prices. We just turned the corner to get inflation back down to below 2%. And now, we're going to have a couple of months of 4 to 5% inflation. So people are going to be a little bit angry when they go to the grocery store or the gas pump. But I do feel pretty confident that I can say that in a few months, when Trump is, when we're out of there and we're hopefully victoriously, that we'll see a resumption of the boom in the economy like we saw in 2025.
Yeah. Steve Moore speaking with us right now, co-founder of the Committee for Prosperity. I want to step back from this issue, being super close to, how much does it cost per gallon to put fuel in your car. Step back a little bit. And you know this as well as anybody else does. What does the left ask us to do and pay in higher prices for the sake of energy over time? We're always told it's kind of our patriotic duty to be green. And yeah, things are going to cost more, but that's just what you're supposed to do. This administration is asking for us to bear with them on some higher fuel costs, so on and so forth, to eliminate a nuclear Iran. And, both of them are asks from your government to trust them and trust the process. One feels a little more, to me, patriotic than the other.
Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, look, everybody has a different opinion about what's going on in Iran, so I'm not an expert on it. I'm very nervous about it. I'm kind of a non-interventionist myself. But look, I mean, if Trump can pull this off and we can make the world a more peaceful and prosperous place and stop this was a regime, that was killing tens of thousands of its own citizens every day. So it was a very, very brutal, murderous campaign. Regime there. So I think we just all hope that it gets over quickly, that we can get back to this booming economy that Trump created in his first term and in the first year of his second term. And I think that's very likely to happen. Trump's judgment is very good. He's following this stuff very closely. One of the statistics that I wasn't even aware of until I was doing some research on this a couple of weeks ago. But, for the first time in 50 years, the United States is now producing more oil and gas than we consume. In other words, we're now a net exporter of oil and gas. Now, then you might ask, well, then why is the price rising? Because there's a global price for oil and gas. And even though we're producing more than ever before, and by the way, thank God we are, because you imagine how much we'd be paying for gas today. If we weren't drilling, we'd be paying $8-10 a gallon. So the fact is that I'm confident that by this summer we're going to see a strong economy again with a lot of new jobs, and we're going to see a big productivity revolution through the robot that's coming and all these things. And then, by the way, I know people are worried about that. I saw a poll the other day that most Americans, are afraid of AI more than they're excited about it. I think that's wrong. That'd be like being against electricity or being against the wheel or fire.
We're afraid of what we don't know and don't understand,
right,
generally
and that's
speaking.
a natural thing. And look, I think a lot of people look at AI and they think of the Terminator movie, and not the amazing things that are coming. But literally, the next 10 or 15, I'm on the board of a company, Annie, called Lightspeed, and we build houses with robots.
Oh my gosh.
And so that's going to mean that we'll be able to build houses at a much, much lower cost, and we'll build them twice as fast, and and with 50% less man hours. So that means that houses will be very affordable to even lower middle income people.
Have you heard Elon Musk say that we're not going to really need jobs and retirement funds and all of that? Have you heard those comments from Elon?
Well, who knows what the future? It's hard to even imagine what the economy is going to look like in 5 years versus 50 years. Within 15 years, everyone will have their own robot. And your robot will basically, make your bed for you. It'll make your coffee for you. It'll drive you to work. It'll do the grunt work that, we normally have to do ourselves. And I don't know, is that going to be a curse or a blessing? It sounds pretty cool. And, it means that we as human beings can do a lot more interesting stuff. And maybe we don't have to work 40-hour weeks any longer because we'll have robots do a lot of the work for us. On the other hand, I've said many times on your show that, work is what gives us fulfillment as human beings. It gives a purpose and mission in life. So, but there's no holding back the future. It is coming.
Yeah, and we will have to figure out how to adapt to it. I haven't cashed in my 401k on Elon Musk's advice quite yet on that.
Well,
Still
listen,
working.
if we get the productivity revolution that comes with this digital economy, it means that we'll see very high rates of growth. We'll see the value of companies rise, and so people will have a lot more money in their retirement state. Time, sure, and they're more fun for time to have fun things and not have to work. It used to be people work 60 hours a week, then it was 50, and then it was 44, and then it was 40, and maybe the work week will go to 20 to 30 hours a week. Who knows?
Yeah, certainly time will tell. I want to ask you before we let you go, Steve Moore speaking with us right now, all of the things that the administration can do, new policies, new ways of thinking economically, and of course, technology advancements. I want to talk about fraud. And I want to talk about your thoughts, your assessment of this administration's pursuit of fraud, ending it at every single level, it seems like. Do you think they're doing a good job?
Well, one of the things we've learned is that fraud is an epidemic in the government, and I believe that Elon Musk is right that we could save $1 trillion a year. We could cut our deficit in half just by getting rid of the fraud and the duplication and the incompetence of government. And the problem is these blue states like Illinois, like New York, like Minnesota, like California, they want the fraud. They don't want to root out fraud because they view it as bringing money to their state. So you have, as your listeners know, there are thousands of these fraudulent daycare centers and so on with no kids. And Medicaid is being ripped off, and Medicare is being ripped off, and dead people are getting Social Security. And the government, the fraud rate for these government programs is 10, 15, 20%. And if you look at a private credit card company or an insurance company, the fraud rate is like 2%. So why is it that the fraud rate is 10 times higher in government than it is in a private company?
Yeah, it just manifests itself once it seems like they've really perfected the process of defrauding the American taxpayer.
I wish they ran the programs as well as they are able to carry out the fraud.
Well, Steve, we appreciate your time, and we look forward to a rapid end to the conflict in Iran, just like you, and hopefully things bounce back quickly. Thanks for being with us this afternoon.
Thank you. Take care.
You as well. Bye-bye. Co-founder of the Committee for Prosperity, host of More Money, and author of The Trump Economic Miracle. Go check them out at committeetounleashprosperity.com. That affordability issue, are you still facing it? I know a lot of people are still talking about it. The president seemed to have a ton of different policies put in place through his different departments, different areas of his administration to try to make America more affordable once again. But gosh, I just think at the top of it, you can't really get into the roots of the programs that we have involved until you stop defrauding the American taxpayer. It's the stories that I lean into the most. Let's take a break here. The YouTube poll, we're asking you, are Americans still facing affordability concerns? Yes, but rapidly improving, or no, there's no affordability concerns. If you go to YouTube, you'll see that we broadcast our show live every day on YouTube. You can watch us on your TV, your smart TV at home, pop us up on your desktop at work while you're hanging out, or just take us on your phone with you wherever you go on that YouTube app. Type in Annie Fry, F-R-E-Y, subscribe to the channel, and every day you'll see in our live chat of the live broadcast that poll that we keep talking about every single day. And today's is, are Americans still facing affordability concerns? You also can text us your thoughts on the poll on the Annie Fry Show text line, 314-241-9797. Give us a text. Tell us what you think about the affordability issues we're facing as Americans today. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go away. Air Comfort Service, aircomfortservice.com. Have you an HVAC issue? I hope not, but if you do, you've got some people who you can call, who you can trust. Of course, you're probably going to get second opinions. I understand that. But make sure that at least one of the people that you call to solve your HVAC concerns, that's going to be Air Comfort Service. I have had them in my home multiple times. The air conditioner, the furnace, both replaced by Air Comfort Service. They were incredibly professional and gave great service, offered great product. We've also done an AeroSeal duct sealing in our home to make sure that the air that travels through the ventilation reaches all the areas, all the vents where the air is supposed to come out successfully. So you're not having all this, what would you say, leakage in the ventilation throughout the course of your home. If you want to become a preferred partner, I encourage you to give them a call at 314-513-0091. Preferred partners get regularly scheduled heating and cooling system checks. They'll check the entire system twice a year. Discounts on diagnostic calls and repairs. Discounts on new equipment and priority service. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw. When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a lifetime of savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? First, we develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. Then, we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will also get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 40 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
The Annie Fry Show is St. Louis conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Man, this song has got to be like 2001. It's my best guess. Hit 'em up style. Do you remember the song?
Oh, yeah.
It's exactly what a 17-year-old girl needs. It's 2001. Boom.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Blue Cantrell. Did she ever do anything else? She did enough with that song. Straight to my heart. Beautiful weekend this weekend. Our family is still, I mean, you hear me tell the stories all the time about sports and stuff, kids sports, youth sports. I don't know what I'm going to do when they're all gone, but I think that we've timed it out. By the time Molly, who's 4, is done with sports, Charlie, who is 11 and a half years old, there could be grandkids along the way. Don't tell him I said that. He will be mortified. Every once in a while he comes up to me and he's like, hey, I heard you were talking about me on the air. I'm like, you are going to have to be more specific. Because I do that all the time. Is it the worst thing in the world or the coolest thing in the world to have a mom who talks about you on the radio when you're in high school? I guess it kind of depends. It does keep them on the straight and narrow a little bit because I would never, ever, ever, and they know this, and I have a commitment to them, I never, ever, ever would say something about them on the air that I wouldn't say if they were here with me. I pride my children. They all have really good senses of humor. But, you know, some of the things that happen when you are in high school, potentially being made public on a regular basis is just a little bit, can be a tough pill to swallow. But I haven't screwed it up big time yet. So God forbid that I do. We were in Cahokia, Illinois this weekend for baseball. And the baseball field at Cahokia High School is tucked in the back. You got to go in and go around. It's back there. And it's, I loved this field. It felt kind of like where my son would play growing up, you know, and I say travel ball, but I don't mean it like that, guys. You know, it's just the nature of the beast at this point in time. But we were out there. The first game started at 10 a.m., I think. And then they were supposed to have a JV and a varsity. Cahokia didn't end up having a JV team, so they played some what they refer to as JV innings afterwards. Prioritize the varsity team. You play the game, and then afterwards you play a few extra innings so that other kids who would be on a JV team get the opportunity to play. And fortunately, I had sunscreen in my car, and we went to get it. We sprayed the 2 little girls down. And my 13-year-old, I think I screwed up big time because my 13-year-old daughter was like, I don't want any of that. And I was thinking, we're going to go to Florida here in a few weeks, and I need to get we need to get a base tan. Need to get a base tan. And she was saying the same thing, and I'm like, at that point, we were told it was just a varsity game. I think they came to us in maybe the last inning there, and they said, we're going to play a couple extra JV innings. I think the JV innings ended up being, we might have spent an extra over 60 minutes, maybe 90 minutes. I don't know in full how long. But we were out there longer than, I think we were probably out there about a third longer than I thought. If we're out there from 10 a.m. to, it was probably around 11:45, noon. There's a little sun time there for sure on a Saturday in March. I knew I'd get a little burn, a little kiss from the sun. Sprayed the 4-year-old down, sprayed the 9-year-old down. Jared didn't want any. And my right leg, so I was sitting in my chair, and I had my right leg crossed over my left leg, shorts on. I had a kind of like a hoodie with, well, it was a hood, long sleeve, but I had that on. So I had the sleeves down, had the hood pulled over my face for the second half of our time out there so that the sun wasn't hitting my face and my arms and everything. And my right leg got burned so bad Saturday, that it hurt to walk on it. I don't know if it's just because it was the first brush with the sun. I didn't expect for it to be this incredibly bad and painful, but my daughter, she got it too. And I have learned, I don't know what age as a parent, certainly 13, my fault. I screwed that up. But at what age does a kid / young adult get to say, no, Mom, I'm not putting on sunscreen, and I can't chase them down with it and spray it on them? Because that's probably what's going to happen from now on. I feel so bad that she was burned. She refused it, and she learned her lesson, maybe? She thinks she's getting ready for Florida, too. But I only had it on the inside of my right leg. And to the point where when I stood up, I could feel the blood just throb all the way through my leg.
No, thank you.
Didn't get it on the upper half because I stayed with my long sleeves and put the hood up and pulled it over. But if she's 13, I should have put sunscreen. I should have made her. Even though she was going to hate me for it, I should have made her. But at what age does she get to say no, Mom?
For sunscreen?
Yeah.
I think whenever she doesn't live under your roof anymore.
So she lives under my roof when she's 22 and going to college, she has to put sunscreen on?
Yeah, for sure. But I think your attitude as a mom is going to change on whether or not you're going to recommend it and how you're going to recommend it. I think that change will be on your end rather than hers. So you could very well be like, hey, as long as you're under my roof, my rules, that sort of thing. But you're not going to be that person whenever
That'll be the straw that breaks
right.
I want a tan, Mom. I'm going to move out. Okay.
Yeah. But I think, as your daughter grows and matures and she becomes, more of a woman and less of your daughter, not that she won't ever not be your daughter, but as she grows into an adult, you will have that sort of boundary and respect and you'll pull back on your own. But I think
I'm never going to want her to burn.
No.
I would never pull back. I was an idiot. I did to myself what I did to her. Like, if I would have known what was going to happen to me, I would have been a better mom to her and a smarter human to myself. But I failed. But it was like, what, mid-upper 80s this weekend?
Yeah, oh yeah. I got a little sun this weekend too.
It was a hot summer March spring day in St. Louis. Beautiful for baseball. Learned my lesson. Went to church in the morning. Came home and had to lay down because I had to put my legs up. No, I had to put my leg up. It was just the right leg. It's just the inside. I don't even know if it. You can't. If you looked at it right now, it just looks like I got a little sun.
It's just that
look
angle.
like the lobster that I was at. Now I need to know. I need to cross my left. I need to rotate the crossing of the legs. And of course, we have a baseball game today, and it's going to be 50 degrees. Fantastic. Thank you, St. Louis. Let's take a break. When we come back, Dr. Jacob Olidort, looking forward to speaking with him, Chief Research Officer and Director of American Security at America First Policy Institute. Let's get to the subject of the matter. The president has said that Iran is interested in talking, and they've put a 5-day hold on blowing to pieces some of these locations that house important energy efforts there in Iran. Could this be the end of the 4 to 6 week minor incursion into Iran? I hope so. Let's get to the subject of the matter with Dr. Olidort in just a minute. Don't go away.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Today's YouTube live chat poll. Are Americans still facing affordability concerns? Got 3 options. Yes, yes, but rapidly improving, or no, we're not facing affordability concerns. You can vote on the poll on Annie's YouTube page, and you can text us at 314-241-9797 and tell us why you voted the way you voted, and Ethan's monitoring those, and he might read your comment on air. So let us know. The time is 1:29. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. From Fenton to Fairview, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Foreign Ministry says you're not telling the truth when it comes to productive conversations to end the war.
Well, they're going to have to get themselves better public relations people. We have had very, very strong talks. We'll see where they lead. We have major points of agreement. I would say almost all points of agreement. Perhaps that hasn't been conveyed. The communication, as you know, has been blown to pieces. They're unable to talk to each other. But we've had very strong talks. Mr. Witkoff and Mr. Kushner had them.
President Trump speaking today at the Palm Beach airport, probably on his way en route to Memphis, about talks with those folks there in Iran looking for possibly the opportunity for peace. Now, that sounds real nice. Is it going to happen? Might we see some sort of resolution taking place towards the end of this week? Let's speak to an expert. Dr. Jacob Olidort joins us. He's the Chief Research Officer and Director of American Security at America First Policy Institute. Thank you for being with us, Dr. Olidort. It's good to have you with us.
Oh, it's an honor to be with you and your listeners, Annie. Thank you for having me.
Thank you as well. I want to ask you about the progress so far with what you've seen President Trump say that we are doing in Iran, and 3+ weeks into it, what he's accomplished so far. Would you say that they've delivered on what they set out to do?
Well, I think the progress has been historic success operationally. We've taken out thousands of targets within the country, along with Israel, of course, with the intent And the stated objective, as the president has said all along since February 28th, to ensure that this regime cannot pose a threat to the American people, and that means degrading their military capabilities, and that also means disrupting their command and control, which, as the president alluded there, has sufficiently been degraded as well. So, certainly well on the way to meeting those objectives.
We're speaking with Dr. Jacob Olidort with the America First Policy Institute. One of the things that he said today in that conversation with the press while he was getting ready to board a plane was that they've expressed interest in having talks and that they have a lot that they agree on. And then he listed some non-negotiables. Of course, nuclear Iran is a non-negotiable. Who are we talking to? Who are we negotiating? Like, we know who we're sending in there with Witkoff and Kushner. When they're trying to negotiate something that is going to stop this war from happening, who are we talking to?
Well, it's a great question. Of course, the president rightfully did not disclose who the interlocutor is on the Iranian side. There are a couple of guesses of who it might be, but the larger point as well is the fact that there is interest. And certainly that the importance of negotiations as well as a parallel line of effort to the military operation remains important. They are mutually complementary, in fact, as the Secretary of the Treasury said on the Sunday shows, I think it was. And so I think, it's still early to tell exactly the scope of what's being discussed and, as you said, with whom. But I think it's certainly an encouraging sign.
Okay, so let's talk about what has been accomplished so far. It seems as though that the United States, in partnership with Israel, have taken out their military structure, their ability to attack, to harm people that they feel should incur the wrath of Iran for whatever particular reason that they would end up attacking. Israel seems to have been able to surgically remove people who are in leadership positions, even when they assume the new leadership positions. By the time they're in, they're out once again. Have you learned anything about Iran's capabilities, their military capabilities, their attack capabilities, in the process of these 3+ weeks that maybe we didn't know before this happened?
Well, one thing is clear: they're in a much poorer shape than we thought possible, and it's one large paper tiger. We've achieved complete air superiority within a context of 2.5 weeks. We've taken out another country's navy on a scale that we haven't seen since World War II. In a short period of time of 3 weeks. And of course, the individuals, the intelligence penetration is unmatched. Iran has, of course, been firing back out of desperation. But another milestone as well is the coalition that we've built of some 20-something countries that have come together wanting to secure the Strait of Hormuz, on which they depend. That's also come about in the last 2 weeks. And so I think Iran has not ceased from its intent to cause harm, but I think the successes are overwhelming in their scale and breadth.
I want to talk about reaction from those in the region and also those not necessarily in the region. Is there a surprise or maybe some enlightening reaction from Middle Eastern countries there that when this started happening, everybody would be kind of looking at them to say, how is this country going to react to America and Israel going into Iran? How's that country going to act, specifically in the Middle Eastern region?
Yeah, I think the big surprise is only the fact that the voices that one would have assumed might have been more neutral or more muted have in fact joined in support of the United States and even Israel in this effort. Even in contrast, you go back several months to kind of some criticisms of Israel even there. But, I mean, you saw Al Jazeera, of all media outlets, running a headline supportive of U.S. and Israeli military operations. You saw Qatar, you saw other countries take strong action to kick out Iranian diplomats, Saudi Arabia as well, kicked them out. And, part of that is because a lot of the targets, in fact, a disproportionate number have been actually the Gulf states rather than what we would have assumed is Israel out there in the region. And so I think this reflects the fact that Iran's threats are a shared concern and that these countries, although they are in immediate proximity to those threats, understand that removing those threats is the key to future prosperity in the region.
Some of the president's actions earlier on in his second term, including making that trip to the Middle East to, his actions, for instance, on Syrian sanctions and the Qataris and Saudi Arabia, there was a softening and a welcoming of mutual success. I don't know if that's a proper way to put the foreign policy of the president's administration efforts there in the Middle East earlier on. Was that laying the groundwork for an opportunity for us to go into Iran to completely neutralize them and to have laid the runway for some of these Middle Eastern countries to be able to say, you know what, we're kind of on America's side this time around?
Definitely. I mean, some, but I would say, kind of stepping back, the president's objectives are clear, and that is to ensure that, first of all, to end endless wars, which this is that process at work. We're ending the 47-year-long war that the Iranian regime has been waging against the American people. This is the first president to actually take that action to stop it definitively, rather than kick the can down the road. And then the second is to empower our allies and partners to take ownership over the region so that the American people can reap the benefits, the prosperity benefits of that new and lasting peace. And I think that is where we are headed with this operation as well. You're right. Part of it, of course, coming out of the Biden years, I mean, anything would have been better than Biden. But I mean, of course, the interest and realization that this is a president who's taking action to protect his own people, that I think is inspiring to leaders around the world, but in particular around the region itself, that this is also a policy that will ultimately place them and their people in a more stable and secure position for the future.
Dr. Jacob Olidort speaking with us, Chief Research Officer and Director of American Security at America First Policy Institute. You called it a 47-year war, and, we can dabble in that very frightening thought experiment of what if Trump would have lost the second term and Kamala Harris would be the president of the United States right now. I mean, has the big, scary question of Iran just been the case for nearly 5 decades, and would it have continued to have been moving forward? Is President Trump really ending a war that has been lasting 47 years?
It most certainly is the case, and I share the horror with you, the feeling that I don't want to think of what the counterfactual might have been with the Kamala presidency, and I also hate to think about what the threat would have become had Operation Midnight Hammer not taken place, and had our Operation Epic Fury as of February 28th not taken place, because it is not only a persistent and growing threat, but it's one that the American people have consistently felt throughout the various chapters and milestones of that threat coming to fruition. We shouldn't forget that the largest single attack on U.S. troops by a foreign entity prior to 9/11 came from the Iranian regime. That was the 1983 suicide bombing of the Marine barracks in Beirut that claimed 241 American service members. You've had, obviously, the president directly threatened. You've had reports of, obviously, the Iranian regime partnering with cartels to threaten American families, propping up those regimes. Venezuela provided, over the course of a decade, passports to Iranian regime-linked officials to thereby enter the United States. And then, of course, Iran's threats around the world. It is the main source of ballistic missiles and drones to Russia, and so on and so forth, propping up China. And so I think this is a complex issue, and I think what we're seeing as well, it's also a multi-layered approach to dealing with this global threat fundamentally. So that once we do eliminate the threat, I think the alternative will be much better, will be much more stable region and geopolitical environment for us to really advance the American people's needs around the world.
Dr. Jacob Olidort speaking with us. How do we know when the new leadership of Iran gets in there? How do we know we can trust but verify? I feel like it would just be verify, maybe forever and always. But if you're going to get a new leadership in Iran, and it's been like this for 5 decades, they probably don't really know much different. How does this get reestablished so that it's something that can be prosperous for those people in Iran who have been wanting something different for so long?
No, definitely. It's a great question. And look, and this is why I believe the vice president hit the nail on the head a couple of weekends ago when he said, look, the fate of the regime is incidental to our objectives. We don't know what the future will bring, of course, But our responsibility, the president's responsibility by the Constitution, is to protect the American people. And so that's why the focus has been to degrade their capabilities, to prevent them from the ability to act on their intentions as they have stated them to date. That could change, of course, and we want to be open to that, but clear-eyed about it. But I mean, if you look just narrowly at the Strait of Hormuz, there's much clamoring about it. The fact is that this waterway has been under attack certainly for the last decade, but in particular the last few years. And whatever the outcome will be, it'll be a much more stable region and waterway once Iran is no longer has the means to impose its agenda. So I think there's obviously a lot of unknown in the future, but I think what we are looking for is a future in which the regime at the helm cannot threaten the American people.
Yeah. And it seems as though we are eliminated for some time their ability to do that. In your estimation, how far back have we, along with the Israel effort, how far back have we set them?
Well, this is an unprecedented moment. I think right now we have really, I think the regime elements that remain are in uncharted waters in that they have no Ayatollah, no functioning Ayatollah to tell them where to go and what to do. The president said as much as well, that he's not the decision maker. And we can't forget that Khamenei and Khomeini before him, these are the individuals that had literally their thumb on the trigger, not literally, but I mean, their voice was what determined the strategic escalation that they made, the ways in which they threaten Americans. And so I think we've really set them to a whole new place that they have not been in their 47 years of experience.
Well, we will watch and we will see and pray for that peace talk to materialize. Do you anticipate there being a measurable change in the direction of this conflict by the end of the week?
I do, certainly. Every week we've seen milestones achieved and a new measure, a new milestone of success. I think when you look at the regime itself, the military force that we are applying has two functions. First of all, it is actually eliminating those capabilities, and it's also a coercive mechanism to get them to act in certain ways. And we're seeing the latter playing out a little bit right now to see, well, what is it that they want to talk about? As the president said, we can't know for sure that talks will be successful, but we'll see where we go. And if not, of course, the president is right to maintain all tools on the table, all options on the table. So very, very dynamic situation, of course, as we would assume, but also a historic one. And so much to watch and much to be excited about.
Well, we're grateful for your insight. It's invaluable here on our show. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you so much. A pleasure to be with you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Dr. Jacob Olidort, Chief Research Officer and Director of American Security at America First Policy Institute, americafirstpolicy.org. All right, let's get to the YouTube poll. Are Americans still facing affordability concerns? Yes, but rapidly improving, or no? Kind of a tough question to answer right now while we're seeing the war in Iran have an effect on our everyday experience at the gas pump, maybe at the grocery store cashier checkout, maybe. Let us know your thoughts. Text us at 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm observing right now as President Trump is walking around Graceland. Can't make this stuff up, folks. Look up on the television, make sure that we haven't started a new war, maybe haven't ended a war, and Trump is walking around Graceland because he's in Memphis, where he's made it safe once again. Make America safe again, make Memphis safe again, make Graceland great again. Maybe he'll play something. Play us a ditty, President Trump. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Matt Hayes at Home Shield Foundation Repair. Lots of different types of foundation things that he can do to help you get your foundation back in good working order. Repair it, if you will. Home Shield Foundation Repair can be reached at 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. I talk all the time about wet basements and how if you have a concern with moisture and water getting into your basement, you have a solution available to you when you you reach out to Home Shield Foundation Repair, you can go online to homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com. But I want to encourage you to trust Matt Hayes to look at what you're dealing with and give you a full picture of what it's going to take to fix it right the first time. God forbid you hire somebody, you find a great discount or something like that, and you find out exactly why it was a discount job. You don't want that when it comes to your foundation. You want an expert, and you want someone you can trust who's going to treat you right. That's Matt Hayes at Home Shield Foundation Repair. Online at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
Brian Kilmeade is coming back to St. Louis for one night in November. Just listen to the Mark Cox Morning Show, the Annie Fry Show, and the Mark Reardon Show like you usually do. But pay attention for us to tell you when to call to win free tickets.
Everyone needs to have at least one person in their corner in life. When you don't, it's an extremely lonely and frightening place to be. But knowing you have that one person gives you peace and hope. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Since 1988, myself and my firm have been in so many corners for so many clients for so many years. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason, and it's not even close. We fought like hell for you. We fight the bullies, automobile insurance companies, the makers of unsafe products, medical providers who injured or killed their own patients. It has been such an honor and made my life complete. If you ever need us, it's easy. On your mobile device or computer, visit forthepeople.com, and then we get to work 24/7. Whether you're hurt in a car crash, injured on the job, or have questions about your Social Security, we're here for you. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IBW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Men. Need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. What were the core cartoon movies, Ethan, that you grew up with as a child? Like, I think
movies or shows.
Was Monsters Inc. big for you?
Oh yeah, Incredibles, Cars. Oh yeah, I grew up in a prime time for cartoon movies.
Those are all two very, I will say, gender neutral, but
Toy Story,
boy, as much as girl movies. You know, I grew up with Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King. And The Lion King was the one that was kind of everybody. But you didn't hear, this is what we called the 90s. You didn't hear a lot of boys being like, my favorite movie is The Little Mermaid or Beauty and the Beast. They had boy movies that you watched and we had girl movies. And that didn't mean... Did you like Ratatouille?
Ratatouille is probably top 3 Pixar movie for me.
Really?
Yes, I love Ratatouille.
What do you love about it?
I don't know. It's different. There's not a lot of. It certainly is unique from. I mean, they're all.
Do you
unique.
like to cook?
No, not necessarily.
It didn't inspire you.
I just thought that I enjoyed it. I don't know. I don't really have an answer for you besides
Just
I really enjoyed it growing up. I thought it was funny. I still think it's funny. You don't have a lot of French themed Disney movies.
You've ever ridden the Ratatouille ride at Remy's Ratatouille Adventure at Disney World?
No, which one? No, I haven't.
They shrink you down to the size of a mouse and you go through the kitchen.
I probably would like that. I could quote the whole movie.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I could do without the movie.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it, but I'm never putting it on first. Monsters Inc., Toy Story. What was the other one you said? Incredibles. Those are all good.
Cars, Finding Nemo.
They've announced Incredibles 3 is coming out.
4 years.
That's the way they do
I
it.
hate that they do that. Makes me like, why even announce it at that point?
So they can sell stuff.
Who cares? Tell me a year, max a year and a half out.
Prime movies that you grew up with, Brad?
Well, the movies that Disney was doing, like you were saying, Little Mermaid and
Were you a Lion King
Beauty and
kid?
the Beast. Not really. I don't know. I didn't really like The Lion King.
Ooh, I love The Lion King.
It's a hot take. You're the only one.
My favorite movie growing up was Brave Little Toaster. I don't know if you guys remember that one.
Huh?
The Brave Little Toaster.
The Brave Little Toaster.
Oh, it's great.
I've heard it.
What kind of movies were you watching?
So it's about a toaster, a radio.
Keep going.
Yeah, a vacuum cleaner and a blanket, and they're in this cabin room of this little boy, and they're all like, it's kind of Toy Story-esque, except they're items,
appliances.
Right.
It's got a pretty good
score. The little
It sounds like the test run for Toy Story.
The little boy and his family sell the cabin and move and leave everything behind, and then the whole story is about them getting back to quote unquote the master because they miss him. And like John Lovitz plays the voice of the radio, and he's doing a 1920s radio voice the whole time, and it's just
That's
really
worth the price of admission.
Oh, it's
right
so
there.
funny.
Deanna Oliver plays Toaster.
Have you guys seen Moana?
Yes,
I have.
Do you like it? Because Moana, you would have both, obviously, Brad, you would have seen it as an adult. How old would you have been, Ethan, being 20 years younger than we are?
I watched Moana for the first time in the last few years. Couple years.
Cartoon. Well, there's only one, but there's
there's two Moanas, I thought.
Yes, I was saying cartoon or live action. That's where I'm getting at because there's a live action coming out. But
the trailer was announced today.
I'm gonna play here in a second. But you saw the original Moana.
Yes,
I think it is.
Good movie.
An incredibly good way to go, Disney. You did it again.
It's the best. That and Frozen are the best in the last 15 years movies that Disney has put out.
Have you seen Encanto?
No.
Challenge.
Okay.
Watch it with your wife. So here is
why with my wife?
Because you love her and she will like it and you will score some points.
My wife's a terrible movie watcher.
Are you Ryan Wiggins? I'm trying to give you brownie point tips for your wife, and you're throwing digs at your wife on the air.
She's a bad movie watcher.
Well, the noon hour was Mark Cox. This hour, he's taking shots at his
Hannaford.
wife. Hannah Hannaford. Okay, here is a look at The Rock, who plays Maui in the real one. The original one, the cartoon one, is apparently going to be Maui in the real one.
Maui, demigod of the wind and sea.
Hero of men.
Huh?
So it goes like this. Maui, shapeshifter, demigod of the wind and sea, hero of men. Women. Women too. Men and women.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The trailer looks really good.
I'm going to say that when I first heard that The Rock was playing Maui in the cartoon one, I rolled my eyes at it. I'm like, of course he is. That's just too on the nose. I don't love it. And then I saw the movie and I'm like, okay, I love it. And I was thinking the same thing there. All I'm seeing is, what's his name? Dwayne Johnson. All I'm seeing is Dwayne Johnson in a Maui costume. But
I think it's funny. His hair looks so obviously fake. So obviously looks like a wig. Whatever. It just looks funny to me.
I like it when the live action ones. First of all, I think all live action remakes are just money grabs. But if you really like the story, I don't care. Take my money. If it's good, the Lilo and Stitch remake is better than it's better than the cartoon.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, come fight me. You don't like that? It's better than
man.
the cartoon. The story is better. The story is better. The remake is better than the cartoon story because they actually give some credence to the sister who also lost her parents, and the whole story in the cartoon is really around Lilo, the little kid, and the older sisters are supposed to give up everything to take care of this petulant little child. You understand why they're petulant, but
the only thing that I'll say about Moana coming out with the live action is it feels really soon. It's only 10 years since the original movie came out. And I feel like most live actions have waited a little bit longer.
if
Maybe
you wanted to use The Rock
yeah,
as Maui,
that's fair.
Yeah.
clock's ticking.
Which that'll be a huge money grab, like you said. Like him being in it will bring a lot more attention to it. I don't know. I'll probably go see it. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. There's another movie that came out this weekend that people are raving about. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. And also the idea of getting back in the movie theater. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
0615. We've seen all kinds of clogs, so remember the rule. Only flush 3 things. Number 1, number 2, and toilet paper.
What about my dinosaurs?
No?
My monster truck?
Nope.
What about...
If it's not the big 3, don't flush it.
But if someone does flush a dinosaur...
Call Grasser. We clear the clog and get things moving again.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
What if you had a plan to build income outside your job? At Lifestyles Unlimited, you'll learn how people are investing in real estate to grow their income and make smarter financial choices one property at a time. Right now, join us for just $297. That's a savings of $443 off our real estate education program. Text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Triton Exteriors, St. Louis roofing, siding, and gutter systems. We'll take care of you and your home. We're #1 in the Ladue, Kirkwood, and Webster area. James Hardy certified. Visit Triton.stl.com to be connected with a James Hardy expert and receive a free estimate. Triton-stl.com or call 314-717-1159. That's 314-717-1159. Triton Exteriors, St. Louis #1 James Hardy specialists.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Tax season is here, and Missouri families are already seeing the real impact of the Working Families Tax Cut Act. House Republicans are delivering real results for hardworking Missourians. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, the bill is projected to raise wages in Missouri by about $3,000 to $6,000 over the next 4 years. That's more money for groceries, gas, and greater security for your family's future. In Congress, I'm working to protect working families, strengthen our economy, and ensure you are keeping more of your hard-earned money.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
If you live in Missouri, have Medicaid, and need a caregiver, this message is important. Care at home is personal. That's why you may not want a stranger in your home to take care of you. You want someone who already knows you and your daily routines. With Freedom Care, you choose a trusted family member, a friend, or a neighbor. They will get paid after every shift to care for you, and it's 100% free to you. More than 70,000 people have already joined the Freedom Care family. Call your local Freedom Care. They'll check your Medicaid eligibility. Don't wait until a stranger shows up at your door. If you have Medicaid and need help at home, this care is available 100% free to you. Call Freedom Care now to see if you qualify. 314-343-1362. 314-343-1362. That's 314-343-1362.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Window for peace. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Trump extending a deadline for Iran to reopen the critical Strait of Hormuz, delaying possible attacks on Iran's energy infrastructure and citing good discussions between Iran and 2 U.S. envoys.
But we'll see what happens. I think there's a very good chance we're going to end up in a deal. And so we're giving it 5 days, and then we're going to see where that takes us. And I would say at the end of this period, I think it could very well end up being a very good deal for everybody.
The president says Iran wants peace and agrees not to have a nuclear weapon. But Iran denies that negotiations are happening. The parliament speaker calling it fake news in a post suggesting it's aimed at moving financial markets. And the new window for talks is not a pause in fighting.
We do understand there are more strikes against the Iranian regime, but right now the U.S. and Israeli jets over the country are avoiding the power plant that President Trump threatened over the weekend.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. A detention hearing delayed for the man accused of killing 18-year-old Sheridan Gorman in Chicago. The Loyola University freshman had been on a pier trying to see the northern lights with friends when she was shot last week.
As they were leaving, police say a masked man dressed in black came up, pulled out a gun, and then shot and killed Sheridan as she tried to run away.
Fox's Garrett Tenney in Chicago. DHS says the suspect, 25-year-old Jose Medina, is here illegally from Venezuela.
He was released into the country by the Biden administration when he came across the border in May of 2023. And a month later, he was arrested for shoplifting at a Macy's in Chicago.
After being released on bail in that case, Medina failed to show up in court and an arrest warrant was issued. Now he's charged with multiple felonies, including murder. Fox 32 in Chicago reporting a detention hearing was delayed because he's hospitalized. No details yet. America is listening to Fox News.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaid spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Partly sunny skies as we go through our Monday afternoon. This is the coolest day of the week, 59. Tonight, some clouds going down to 42. Tuesday, sunny, 65 later on in the day on Tuesday after a chilly start. Wednesday, partly sunny, 74. Opening day on Thursday, partly sunny, almost hot. 89, 90 degrees. Should be a record breaker on Thursday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Range.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
You know, the president made it clear that, you know, we're not going to wait. You know, and he called me this morning, and he's tired of waiting and American people being held hostage. You know, at long lines at the airports, TSA not being paid. You know, the Coast Guard, FEMA, CIS, all these people, federal employees, are working for free, and it's like the third time they went without pay. You know, and the president's tired of it. He's not going to let America be held hostage. Now he's going to, you know, we're going to pivot from there, and we're going to send ICE agents to the airport to help alleviate not only the TSA officers who are overwhelmed and understaffed now because many of them left, but we're going to help the American people transit through the airport quicker and not be held hostage by this foolish shutdown that the Democrats started. I mean, this administration didn't shut the government down. It was the Democratic Party that shut it down.
Tom Homan there speaking about the shutdown that is affecting all those travelers across the country, standing in hours and hours and hours of lines at TSA because the Democrats can't get them funded. Now, the TSA workers that are showing up, they're showing up without pay. And the question is, how long can we sustain as a country, a civilized country, this type of reaction to an unfunded amount of security? Let's talk to our next guest. Lori Rees with us, Director, Border Security and Immigration Center and Senior Research Fellow. Laura, thank you for being with us today. It's good to have you.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Of course. I want to know about your thoughts on the administration's decision to say, hey, all right, let's throw some of our ICE agents out there to help assist TSA with what they're doing. They're not there to enforce immigration necessarily. What are your thoughts on the innovation of that as a potential solution to part of these problems?
Well, I get the PR aspect to it. When the Democrats often say that they don't want ICE at polling stations, for example, which is such an odd concern when they also claim that no one here illegally votes illegally. And so I think the mentality was, okay, how about ICE at TSA lines? How do you like that? Problem is, ICE's mission is to enforce immigration law. And we need mass deportations when we have at least 20 million deportable aliens in this country. And if ICE agents are getting pulled away from doing their mission to help at TSA, those deportations are not going to increase. So when it comes to the mission, I would disagree with it. And there are other law enforcement agencies at other funded departments that could help out.
Yeah, I heard President Trump say today that that maybe the National Guard would be in play as another agency that could, or entity that could assist with this matter. And when it comes to the TSA and the way we operate our airport security, is it law that it has to be TSA? Can there be any privatization whatsoever? Would that even be a good idea for us to consider making our airports secure so that they can't be at the whim of a minority party in Congress that wants to hold the whole thing hostage?
Yes. Recall pre-9/11, transportation security, aviation security used to be private. But after 9/11, the Democrats wanted a whole new department created, and they wanted to federalize airport screening. And that's why we have TSA, and that's why we have DHS. And so right now, there is an option for airports to opt into a program to have private screeners. I believe 22 airports exercise that. But frankly, we do need to return to that because, for this very reason, we shouldn't have feckless members of Congress who can't do their job have such control over Americans' lives in so many aspects. Our federal government is too large. It is too expensive. And this clearly shows that this function should return to private hands.
Is there evidence that the federalizing of the security at airports, has it made us safer?
No, not necessarily. I mean, occasionally, every so often, there'll be a test by an oversight body or an inspector body, and they will try and get, dummy explosive devices or other forms of contraband through screening, and then, you see how things failed or what have you. So, for net, no, it has not made us more secure. Also, they're still unionized. I had thought earlier in this Trump term that we were moving away from public unions at DHS in the national security realm. So I don't know if that's tied up in court or what have you, but our government employees should not be unionized either.
Laura Reese speaking with us, the Director of Border Security and Immigration Center and Senior Research Fellow at Homeland Security at the Heritage Foundation. Do you anticipate that the problem is going to continue to get worse as far as TSA goes? Will they need to bring more agencies in to help with this? I mean, from what I understand, I keep hearing TSA agents, they're not making boatloads of money right there. They can't go forever. Most of us couldn't without paychecks. I mean, it sounds like you're saying ICE isn't the solution that you'd like to see. Do you have a better solution in mind?
Yeah, I mean, perhaps National Guard or a law enforcement agent from a different department that is funded. But yes, with each passing paycheck not getting paid, I mean, how long could average Americans go? I mean, they have to pay mortgage, they have to pay for food and pay for their children, et cetera, et cetera. Most of us couldn't keep doing this. So yeah. God bless those who keep reporting to work, but this isn't going to last. And spring break keeps dialing up, more travel. And yet it's just shocking that members of Congress don't, they view this as a positive for them. They admit, we're projecting or injecting pain onto the public to get what they want. They're not feeling enough pressure. Meanwhile, many of these members of Congress are escorted around these lines, which is such an elitist act to not subject themselves to the pain that they subject their constituents to. But even beyond, long lines at airports, Coast Guard is part of DHS. Coast Guard is partially military, and we are at war right now with Iran. We have to assume there are sleeper cells in the U.S., given Biden's 4 years of open borders. The remaining Iranian leaders call for attacks on tourist sites anywhere in the world. So the members of Congress, particularly Senate Democrats, need to get serious about securing the homeland. They're playing chicken with sleeper cells right now in America, and we deserve far better.
Laura Reese speaking with us right now on the issues facing our country as the Department of Homeland Security has not been funded by the Democrats who are holding out. I was going to ask you, kind of in the vein, you've gone down this road a little bit here, but I'd like to key into the TSA portion of it. I saw reports, a lot of stand-up reporters standing in the lines at TSA and just asking anecdotally, traveler after traveler, and I've heard several of them say, when I finally got through at the last airport I was at, I didn't see them pull one bag off the belt to inspect it. That they're at the inspection areas, they're pushing people through as fast as they can. The lines are still just ridiculously long. Are we concerned that the security at TSA in our airports right now might be rushed?
That's always a concern. And this is the balance when a government has to strike between travel facilitation and security. And when you rush anything, whether it's adjudications of benefit applications or screening, then you're going to cut corners and things are going to be missed, and that's not good. So that's what we're facing right now because the Senate Democrats refuse to fund DHS because they don't want ICE to deport illegal aliens. I mean, this has nothing to do with TSA. This is all about trying to prevent ICE from doing its job.
Well, we appreciate your time, Laura. Thank you for being with us. I know the story will continue. We look forward to possibly having you come back soon.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Director at Border Security and Immigration Center and Senior Research Fellow of Homeland Security at the Heritage Foundation, Laura Reese, joining us there. I wonder how many of you have flights in the near future. You got a spring break trip ahead of you. Holy Week is next week, and for a lot of people, that coincides with spring break. You got worries about it? We are asking you on the YouTube poll about something else, but we'll take your text messages on both if you so choose. 314-241-9797. Let us know about experiences you've had with TSA at the airports, in your travels, and also, are you facing affordability concerns? I wonder how many Americans right now feel that the affordability issue is something that the president and the administration have grasped and have worked towards remedying for you, for your family. It's not the question today specifically is if you feel like those concerns exist. But I am also curious in your text and in your comments if you think that the president understands what Main Street is experiencing when it comes to affordability. I'm wondering if you feel as though the domestic concern, economic concern in this moment where we are at war, one that some people say we started it, but the president, the administration, and I would agree with the assessment that we are trying to end a very, very long war in Iran, to end the threat to American lives, to Americans at home or overseas, and also any of those other folks who might be at the other end of the ire of Iran, run by radical clerics who are chanting things like death to America and wanting to eradicate the world from infidels. Is that a responsible regime to have a nuclear arsenal? Obviously not. So we kind of come to a confluence right now where we have been working very hard as I say we, the administration has been working very hard to address the affordability concerns that Americans are facing, but also the Iranian nuclear threat that they are trying to eradicate from the face of the planet. And those seem to not exactly mix in the moment where they are meeting right now. But we are here. We are right in the thick of it. What will it look like in a week after the president said today that Iran is ready to talk and that they've kind of put a 5-day pause on striking the next targets that are in line for the United States that they were aiming for? They're going to halt that for 5 days while these talks end up happening. As I asked Dr. Jacob Olidort at 1:30, Who are we talking to? Who are the people stepping up with the authority to negotiate on behalf of Iran? Well, we don't know that. But, of course, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner do, and the Trump administration does. And they have signaled to the American people there is peace in sight. I'm excited for that. We hope that that will get us to the other side of this with a nuclear threat completely eradicated, and we can get to the place where maybe prosperity starts to exist in a more consistent way. So let's take a quick break. Americans, are they still facing affordability concerns? You can vote on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@AnnieFry. Type in Annie Fry on your YouTube app on your phone. When you pull up the live broadcast that's happening right now, here, right today, you can vote in the poll. It's in the live chat portion. Say hi, subscribe, vote, and let us know what you think about affordability. Does the Trump administration get it? You can text us as well at 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Ethan's Sports and Local next. Don't go away. The Retirement Advisory Group, my friends, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, Thomas Helbig, what wonderful people they are. And they're looking for folks like you while you are right there at that point where retirement is next. That's a pretty exciting thing, isn't it? You are thinking about it. You have had a timeline in your head, and you want to make sure that you can actually execute that timeline. Who are you going to call? How do you know that you are on your path to a worry-free retirement? You call the Retirement Advisory Group. You go online to the retirementkey.com, retirementkey.com, 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. The Retirement Advisory Group will help set you up with a personalized structured income plan. Guidance to understand how that retirement of your dreams, what's the timeline that you can achieve it? How can you afford it? How are you going to have enough nest egg to last you the full retirement that you're looking to enjoy? They've got the answers for you. You just got to set up an appointment at no cost and no obligation to you. 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com. Saucy soiree.
We're getting nice and saucy in here.
Weird.
And it's all sponsored by All Financial on Ethan's Sports and Local. There was a lot of local sports this weekend. So this is weird because it was like kind of local, but like kind of not local.
Yeah.
Like it was here, but they weren't here teams.
National local sports.
Yes.
Local national sports.
Thank you, Annie, for the clarification.
What we're going for.
Much appreciated. The NCAA tournament, we talked about it a little bit earlier, took place, the first and second rounds, part of the games took place here in St. Louis on Friday. The first round games included Kentucky-Santa Clara, which we talked about earlier, an overtime win for Kentucky. Iowa State absolutely destroyed Tennessee State. Purdue beat up on the 15-seed Queens, and then Mizzou played the late game on Friday night in front of a massive crowd of black and gold. I would imagine that at least 80% of that arena was Mizzou fans, and boy, did the Tigers disappoint. That was the best, worst game of basketball I've ever watched. And the reason I say that is because both teams had their opportunities to run away with it, and nobody did anything. There were turnovers. It was sloppy, a lot of offensive rebounds,
Did Mizzou
low
play
scoring.
poorly?
They played terribly.
Oh.
They looked horrible. It was not good basketball. And unfortunately, the Tigers are now 1-8 in their last 9 first-round games of the NCAA tournament. 80-66 was the final.
A couple of those were high hope years too, I think. Earlier,
Yeah.
like earlier in the 8.
Well, yeah, one of the years they were a 2 seed and got upset. It's considered one of the biggest upsets in college basketball history.
shouldn't talk about
they
it.
lost
Move
to
on.
Norfolk State. But then a couple of years ago as well, they were a 7 seed. They won the first round game, and there was a huge upset in the 2-15. So they played the 15th seed Princeton. You're thinking easy opportunity to go to the Sweet 16, and they lose to Princeton.
Ugh.
So it's been a rough go of the last how many years? 12? I don't know. 15, 20, 25 for Mizzou basketball. Illinois basketball. Good weekend for the Illini. They are. There we go.
I-N-I.
Thank you. Good stuff. The Fighting Illini played. We talked about this on Friday night, and they beat up on the 14 seed Penn, 105-70. And Saturday night, they squared off against VCU, who had upset North Carolina in the first round of the tournament. And it was competitive throughout, but Illinois is just a level above VCU, and that showed. And as the game went on, they were able to stretch out their lead, and they ended up winning this game 76-55. So now the Fighting Illini will have a berth in the Sweet 16, and they will face off against let's see, they're the two. Who are they? Houston. They play Houston. Kelvin Sampson's Houston Cougars, who were quite literally a basket short of a national championship last year. And this
If they would have won, I think my bracket would have won.
This will be
Jerks.
quite the test for Coach Underwood's team.
Got to beat the best to be the best. That's
That
what I
you
always
do.
tell my grade school volleyball teams. It's not. That's true.
If they are
That's actually true.
If they are to win that game, then they would play the winner of 9-seed Iowa and 4-seed Nebraska. So, listen, I'm not going to say that it would be a guarantee. I mean, Nebraska had a thrilling win yesterday, and Iowa just upset a 1-seed in Florida. But if Illinois is to get past Houston, then you have to think that the chances of getting to the Final Four are pretty good.
Looks real good.
Illinois, Illinois seed, and we don't need to belabor March Madness basketball here, but Illinois' seed in this tournament, I think, is affected by the fact that they play in the Big Ten. And if you look at the Big Ten, in the Sweet 16 is a very, very strong conference, the strongest conference, I believe. So I think that if you put Illinois up against any of these teams, they're going to be able to compete, except for maybe Michigan, but we won't talk about that yet.
Speaking of Michigan, they beat up on SLU on Saturday.
It was an honor to play them.
95-72 was the final score.
Good for SLU for 72 points.
The game, 23 points, does not accurately describe how well SLU played. This was a really close back and forth game until probably the final 10 minutes or so. Early in the second half, it was a 3-point game. SLU played very well, but that just should tell you just how
Dave
good
Portnoy was shouting
the
out
Michigan
SLU and how
Wolverines.
well SLU played as a way to compliment how good his Michigan Wolverines were playing, of course, because it's Dave Portnoy. But SLU was getting some love on a national stage for what they've accomplished. Being an A-10 team going in this deep and competing is pretty cool.
Won the A-10 regular season, finished with, I believe, 29 wins, a school record. So, and Josh Schertz just put the pen to the paper on that extension, I believe, this morning. So it is official now. He's going to be around for a while,
And
which
Ryan's
is great
not here,
news
so
for
we're
SLU
not going to do
basketball.
any pants jokes.
No pants
Just going to
jokes.
move those
We're
right
gonna
along.
Actively avoid that.
Fair enough.
Great job to everyone that showed up in St. Louis for the NCAA tournament this past weekend. Great crowds. Hopefully we'll be able to host it again. St. Louis City won their first game of the season on Saturday night. They faced off against the New England Revolution at Energizer Park. Final score was 3-1, and I don't know if you guys have seen any highlights from this game, but Tomas Hurdle, I believe is his name, scored what may be the MLS's goal of the year in this game. It was almost from midfield, and on a volley, scored. It was crazy. Go and look it up. It doesn't take very much to find it if you look up Marcel Hurdle goal. But yeah, St. Louis City gets their first win of the season. Honestly, the coolest moment of this game, I don't know if you guys saw any moments from this, but this was the first game that St. Louis City SC has played at home since Edward Leuven, one of their star players, his wife passed away from brain cancer in the past a week and a half or so. This was their first game at home since then, and in the 10th minute of the game, they had a minute of silence, where you did not hear anything besides the players communicating with one another on the field. They all had little signs that had a 10 with a heart around it that was gray.
Was he on the field?
He's not there right now. He's still out, still missing some time, obviously.
Understandable.
Grieving the loss of his wife. So be keeping him and his family in your prayers. But very cool moment last night at Energizer, or on Saturday at Energizer Park, as they honored him and his family. So, and a good win for St. Louis City SC. The Blues defeated the Vancouver Canucks over the weekend, 3-1. It feels like this kind of just went under the wire, considering all the March Madness games that were going on.
They're still playing.
Yes, they are. And they 3-1. The Canucks are the worst team in the NHL. So, do what you want with that information. A win's a win, I guess. I don't know.
You got to beat the best to be the best.
Yes, you do.
You got to not lose to the Canucks.
That you do. Hey, I have a really cool story here before we wrap. I know we're going to wrap here in just a second, but I saw this article over the weekend about a St. Charles woman named Julie Kulowicz, I believe is how you pronounce it, and she just accomplished something that I don't think I've ever seen before. This is called the World Marathon Challenge. Now, there's quite a handful of people that do this a year. I'm
not interested, but tell me what she did.
People sign up and they pay $50,000 to run 7 marathons in 7 days on all 7 continents.
$50,000?
What do you get?
I'm assuming probably like most of that is sponsored money, but
why?
Arthritis?
I don't know why people do it except for to say that they did it. No. But she's 61 years old. She did this at 61.
Gosh, I am underachieving.
She ran marathons in Antarctica, Africa, in Cape Town, Africa, Perth, Australia, Dubai, Madrid, Brazil.
How much money does this person have to
and
say,
Miami.
I will part with 50,000 of it to do something that would you could get anything out of me to not have to do that. It's a form of torture.
Most of the time, a lot of that stuff is sponsored. I'm not saying it's a guarantee that all that was sponsored. Maybe she forked it herself. But
completes it. Does she? I mean, she's got to be playing for something more than pride.
I bet she got a really awesome medal.
Oh, man.
And I bet that it's sitting real nice in her room of medals from running marathons.
What's the longest race you've ever run? He laughs.
5K.
Have you done a 5K?
Oh, yeah, I've done a few.
What about you, Brad?
Yeah, I've done 5Ks.
I have done one 5K. It was a fundraiser, and I did it more because I was kind of helping make it happen. But outside of that, I would say maybe an 800-meter race and track.
I bet I could do a 10K with like a little bit of training. 6 miles. I could do that. I don't know if I could ever do a half marathon. I don't know if I have that in me. That's a lot of miles.
One of these days, I'm going to get a whiff of, I should try to do that. I should challenge myself. And then I'm going to sign up.
To
and then
what?
I'm going
To do which one?
A half marathon or something.
I was going to say, we've talked about 5Ks. We've talked about 7 marathons in 7 days.
No, I spent all of COVID doing couch to 5K. I got pretty good at that from an exercise standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But an actual race, oh my gosh. But a half marathon, that's going to seem like a good idea until I'm actually like, I have to do this.
You heard it right here, folks. Annie is signing up for the World Marathon Challenge right here.
No, I wouldn't do it if someone gave me $50,000. Lord have mercy. All right, let's take a quick break. Back in a minute. Don't go away. Stewart's American Mortgage, the bagel loan, smart move. I've been talking to you about it for years. I've used it twice myself. Have you considered a new mortgage with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage? Have you considered a mortgage refinance with Stewart's American Mortgage? The phrase you're thinking of is bagel loan. And why are we talking about a bagel loan? What's so special about it? A bagel loan is called a bagel loan because bagels look like zeros. And that means that you're going to remember that the bagel loan comes with no dollars in closing costs. There are none. There are no closing fees. Stewie and Stewart's American Mortgage, they take care of them for you. So you don't have to pay what can be thousands of dollars at the end of this mortgage process to close that loan. All that money comes right out of your pocket. Doesn't have to happen. Not with the bagel loan and not with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage. But nobody else has a bagel loan. It's just Stewie. So here's the number to call or text to make sure you tell him Annie sent you. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Google bagel loan. NMLS number 226715.
Looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Today's YouTube live chat poll: are Americans still facing affordability concerns? Yes, but rapidly improving, or no? Jump on Annie's YouTube page, vote in the poll, leave us a comment, or you can text us at 314-241-9797 and tell us why you voted the way you voted. We want to hear from you. The time is 2:34. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. Where common sense rules the mic. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
But it's doing well. The market's holding up well. I figured we'd be hit a little bit, but we were hit probably less than I thought, and we'll be back on track in a pretty short while. Prices are coming down very substantially. Oil will be coming down. That's just a matter of war. That happens you can almost predict it. I would say it went up a little bit less than we thought. It's going to come down more than anybody understands. Do you have any questions?
So President Trump in Cincinnati talking about the price of oil going up. As he said right there, it's just a matter of war. That was his reaction to the gas prices going up. When was the last time you got gas, Brad?
I got gas, I think Friday after work. Yeah, it was Friday after work.
What'd you pay? Do you remember?
Well, I got E85, so I paid $3.19 a gallon.
I thought you were against E85.
I am not against E85. I actually think that if your engine's built for E85, it is a very good fuel.
So it just depends on...
Yeah. The reason I did that is my truck is flex fuel, and it was the biggest price differential I've seen between it and regular. Because
What'd you pay?
$3.19, and then I think regular was $3.99.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I mean, I'll lose a couple miles to the gallon, but I think that difference per gallon I'll make up on it because I have a 35-gallon tank.
Yeah. Do you get cut off? Do you get to fill up the whole thing?
I'm able to fill it up so far, but during Biden's term, there
What's
were times.
the cutoff?
I think 150 is where my credit card will be like, nope, no more.
And how often do you have to fill up?
Once every 2 weeks.
That makes sense because that's about twice what mine is, and I'm once a week. It's really every 5 to 7 days. It really depends on how many away games we actually really end up having. Here's more of the president talking about affordability first there by the market, how well the market is doing. It really surged today. I presume had a lot to do with the just discussion of peace talks happening, initiated by Iran, among a few other things. So the market kind of bounced back today, but still some work to do. We hit that 50,000 mark a few weeks ago, and I think it's flirting around 46,000 and change. So we'll see how the markets react throughout the course of the week. But prices do seem to have come down a little bit. What we need is the free market to get into a competition, a price war on the opposite way to try to, gain consumer attention and to get the attention back to the idea of being affordable. And I've really seen a lot of that happening, I feel like, in the fast food market. Value meals, it's kind of a silly thing, but if you can go to a fast food restaurant and buy a meal for $5, that's something that happened 10 plus years ago. Now, I guarantee you there's some shrinkflation that's going on there. I think McDonald's, do you guys know what the McDonald's $5 meals are? Aren't they? Don't they have them there? The value?
You're thinking about Subway. It's the $5 footlong.
That has not been $5.
I remember the $5 footlong, and I remember them getting sued because the $5 footlong was
now like $7
and 11 inches. It wasn't a footlong.
Those liars.
Yeah,
I think that's
talk about shrinkflation.
I think that $5 meal is like a medium fry, a 4-piece chicken nugget, and like a double cheeseburger with a medium drink.
Do you need 2 sides with your burger?
At McDonald's.
Yeah.
What other options for a side would there be besides fries?
Chicken nuggets. This meal.
That's a side now?
I don't understand this. Chicken nuggets. You get a medium fry, which I think is like it's in the bag. It's not in the red cardboard thing.
I thought that was the small.
Well, I don't know. But you also get 4 nuggets in this $5 value meal. Is it a McDouble or is it a double cheeseburger? It's probably a McDouble.
McDouble, probably.
1 less slice of cheese. Do you need the chicken nuggies?
No, you don't need the chicken nuggies.
I feel
ridiculous. We're fatifying America. What do you want to say to that? What do you want to say to that?
Contemplating the word fatifying. I'm thinking I'm pretty impressed with it. It's a good word.
Thank you.
Are you eating that whole meal though?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
No problem.
I am fatifying myself.
Is that enough food for you? A McDouble, 4-piece chicken nugget, and a bag of French fries.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's definitely enough.
So for $5, that's a good deal.
Yeah, I would say so.
Brad, is that enough food for you?
I'm still hungry afterwards, but yes, it's enough food for me. If that makes
so we're making choices.
There are people out there that understand what I'm talking about, but yeah, I mean,
you could stop after that.
I could stop after that and give it some time, and I would feel satiated.
You don't like the satiated word?
I've never heard that word before.
Nobody's heard fatify because that's not a word. Satiated is a word.
Yet people understand fatify more.
It's a little bit of like, what is onomatopoeia to that or something? I don't know. Is there anywhere else that you're seeing in your life where things are surprising, like, oh, that's a really good deal. They're really making an effort for it. Or are you finding more frequently where you're going to purchase something and you're like, holy crap, this is way more expensive than I thought it was going to be. The movie theater is definitely one of the places where, and this has been years now, but if I want to go take my family of 6 to see Moana live action, which I think is years away as well, if I want my kids to go see that, it's $120.
Ooh, that's crazy. That's so expensive.
I suppose I could go to a Sunday matinee in a small theater and it would be more affordable, but I want the nicest. I want
you want the big recliners. You want the IMAX.
Yeah.
You want the big popcorn, the sodas,
the sound system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm trying to think of things like that. I remember it was a big thing when McDonald's said, like, okay, we're bringing back the dollar menu, and it's actually going to be $1. I'm trying to think of other things like that right now that stand out to me. On the other side, I think of, and this has been like this for a while now too, but like even like ballpark food is just so ridiculously expensive, like to where going to a baseball game now, if you want to bring your family, it's probably
$500.
It's probably way more extreme than even what you just said.
But you've reported in Ethan Sports and Local on the
sponsored by All Financial.
All inclusive. He just walks around the office saying that everything he does, he thinks is sponsored by All Financial. Gonna go to the bathroom. Guess what?
No.
The all inclusive tickets, to me, is the way the Cardinals are addressing, because I know that I know it says starting at $29 a ticket, but if I'm going to take my family of 6, buy 6 $30 tickets, so $180, which is probably doubled in taxes and fees. Let's sit down and have a talk about that sometime, folks. Ticketmaster, sporting events, all of it.
Very deceptive.
But $180, and I get 9 innings of a Cardinals game, and everybody in my family is going to leave not hungry. That's a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing it a bunch of times, but that might actually make me go to watch the Cardinals game with my full family. Whereas if I go, a $30 ticket for a Cardinals game just for the seat is not a great seat in most places. It's not.
Oh, sure. Yes, I'm with you.
I love bleacher seats.
Mm-hmm.
And those are usually more affordable.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a fun place to watch the game, too.
Yeah.
But they're hard to get, too.
They're hard to get, like, purchase them, or it's
Maybe
hard
not.
to get to them?
I
What
haven't
do you
tried
mean
to buy
by
them
that?
in a couple of years, so maybe they're not as hard as I think they are. But that's where, if Jared and I are going to playoff games, because I will buy tickets for playoff games, I'm buying. I would always buy in the division series. I would buy game 1 and game 5 because you have to buy them all ahead of time by waves. So I buy game 1 and game 5. So I'm going to the first game of the playoffs. Everything's happy, super exciting. Game 5.
Mm-hmm.
Probably doesn't happen. You get your money back. In the NLCS, I would usually buy the first home game of the series and then game 6 or game 5, depending on which advantage we have or don't, and hope that we get that money back too.
Mm-hmm.
I've never gone to a World Series game. Would love to.
Me
I would
too.
love to be in the World Series, Cardinals. That first. And then I'll buy the tickets.
Yeah,
But where are other places that you can see? I think it's trendy right now to consider a deal because things have gotten so expensive that you can kind of cut through the noise when you're making things more affordable. I don't know a lot of places outside of food where deals are really being made. And I would really hope that if money gets injected back into business in a way that allows them to pay that forward, and I know that people who are thinking that they're just going to gobble up all of that opportunity, a lot of times if it gets paid forward, they can, if you get an injection of investment into small businesses or business as a whole, and they can use that as a marketing way to pay it forward to the consumer, then other people will jump on the bandwagon and then prices start to go down a little bit just because the competition is there. I don't really see it happening yet, and I don't want to, be hypercritical of I don't want to be criticizing the coach's game plan in the top of the second inning when this is obviously a 9-inning game, but I do think that we have to be honest and say, is the affordability issue for Americans solved right now? I don't think it is.
And the place where it was becoming most notable is now gone, at least temporary, and that was your filling up your gas tank. I mean, even for me, like going to get groceries, I'm not paying attention to how much it cost, to go to the grocery store. I don't know, 2 years ago compared to now. It's because as we know, what you're going changes, when you're going changes. So at least for me, it's not a comparing the exact same trip last week to this week. Going to the gas station is the same pretty much all the time. You can tell the difference based off of how much it costs per gallon. And right now, it certainly isn't. It certainly is up. They were making great. There was a lot of growth in that prior to the start of everything going on in Iran right now. Hopefully, this is as quick of a process as possible, so that the American's wallet can start appreciating the direction in which the price of gas was going prior to all this.
You have any thoughts?
Yeah, I know whenever we talk about affordability, we have spent a lot of time talking about the prices of everything, but there's also, like, affordability is the ability to afford something. And the other side of that is are your wages going up? And if your wages are going up, then you're able to afford to pay the higher prices. I think one of the things that we miss as consumers is that for prices to really drop pre-Biden levels, we don't need just inflation under control. We actually need negative inflation numbers, which means that the economy, probably the bottom falls out of it. And we don't really want that to get back there. So I think the other thing that I would encourage our listeners to look at is there opportunities for wages to go up? Are we seeing that? The numbers that come in every so often from CNBC and Fox Business reports on them, it seems like wages have been growing in the Trump administration. But to both of you guys' point, we're not there yet. We're not there yet, but I think we're heading in the right direction.
Let's take a break. Get your thoughts, texts in. Ethan will feature them when we return. 314-241-9797 is the text line. You can also comment on the YouTube channel and react to that question about affordability. Fritz said, Americans are always facing affordability concerns if a Democrat can get elected again. Okay, I see you. I understand. Let's get the results when we come back. Don't go away.
We haven't forgotten about you, Illinois. Come and see us at Ott's Tavern and the Millstadt Fish Stand this Friday. It's our final Fish Fry Friday for Lent on The Mark Reardon Show and 97.1 FM Talk. It's all sponsored by Apache Village RV.
A lot of people are getting their air conditioners tuned up and ready to go for the summer, and we're getting a lot of calls of people saying they want a second opinion, to have us come out and requesting us to come out there and take a look at their air conditioners. They've been told that they need a new one, and the repair is quite costly, and it might be best for them to replace the air conditioner and then repair it. If you're in that situation, please give me a call, because there is truly some opportunities here for you that we could save you lots of money, because I'm sure you're going to be shocked. We have the equipment that still works best for you with your budget. It's pretty much the best. Is what I would put in my home, is what I would recommend. Give me a call. It's Bart Inman. One easy number, the easiest number in Missouri and Illinois. That is 314-293-2600. Or the online thing, and that is bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Hey guys, are you dealing with low energy, weight gain, or issues in the bedroom? Game Day Men's Health is the premier men's health clinic in the St. Louis area, with locations in Chesterfield and O'Fallon, Missouri. They specialize in low testosterone and sexual health, and they also help men and women with medical weight loss, vitamins, and peptides. They offer free consultations and testosterone tests with results in about 20 minutes. Get in, get answers, get back to the top of your game. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Again, that's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter. They're the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. Call 314-499-2020. That's 499-2020 or GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com. That's GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe.
Use as directed. The Annie Fry Show is St. Louis conservative.
We talked a little bit earlier in the show about you've got the new Moana live action coming out in sometime in the future, but also, what was the other one that you said that they said? Incredibles 3.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's like 2029.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
What's going on? What are we doing? What's going on? I've said that so many times over the weekend. People
That's
don't
the plan.
have any idea what I'm talking about. Just watch the Tucker SNL skit and you'll understand. There's a new movie out now with Ryan Gosling in it, Project Hail Mary. Have you seen anything about this?
Yes.
Yeah. At least to me, it's giving off Interstellar vibes.
Well,
and I love Interstellar.
Here's Ryan Gosling walking into a theater of people in New York, and they're going to see his movie, and he walks right in. So he's standing here in front of this huge crowd. This is a huge theater.
Yeah, it is.
But he talks to them a little bit or whatever, and then he says this, which is...
6 years ago, I got the manuscript, the most ambitious thing I'll ever make. It seemed impossible. It was too good not to give it a shot. 6 years later, we did it. Here we are. We're all back in theaters. It's not your job to keep them open. It's our job to make things that make it worth you coming out. So you're about to go to another galaxy.
I just thought for Ryan Gosling to walk out in front of this theater full of people and say to them, first of all, high fives all around. We're all back in theaters again. That's a good thing. I'm sure he feels that way because his livelihood depends on it. But for him to say it's not your job to keep the theaters open, it's our job to give you a reason to come back and be in theaters. I wish we would get back to more of those types of movies. I don't know if they all have to be like bazillionaire investments, like these huge epic endgame type level movies. But when you go to the movie and you see Maverick, it's just the last one that I saw that I've watched it a billion times since then, but there's nothing like listening to the sound system when you're listening to fighter jets around you in a theater. Like, it's an experience that you go to the theater to have, as opposed to just watch a movie. We can all do that in our living rooms. Have you seen any movies lately that are like that?
Not that I can think of. But I completely agree with him. And let's be honest, you think about a lot of the notable movies that have come out in the last several years. I mean, look at the Oscars, for example. I mean, I don't recognize the large majority of the movies that are up for nominees for Best Picture these days. It just feels like the overall quality of movies. There's a lot of remakes. There's a lot of live action stuff going on. There's nothing new that is capturing people.
Yeah, the Project Hail Mary is supposed to be a new story, so I'm kind of intrigued by it.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't been a movie-going person for a long time, but I got little kids, so it's expensive to go, and then you got to get babysitters. There's too much coordinating for the 2 hours of I hope this movie doesn't suck.
Right. It's really got to be worth it. You got to know going in.
And I do value, though, Ryan Gosling going out there and saying, this onus is on us to bring you here.
How can you not love him? He's great. He's
Don't
one
get
of
me
my
started.
favorites.
Yeah, me too.
I just watched La La Land for the first time.
I've never seen that.
Oh,
is it
man,
good?
phenomenal.
That's my type of
Phenomenal.
movie, too. And Emma,
So good.
what's her name?
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone, she's fantastic.
Very good. Very good movie.
The YouTube poll for today, are Americans still facing affordability concerns? Yes, but rapidly improving, or no? I'm just going to say yes. That's my answer. What's your thoughts, Brad?
I'm going to say yes, but improving. So,
Ethan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I also said yes, but improving.
Okay. You want to give us the results of today's poll?
Well, we're going back and forth between 204 and 203 votes, so I'm not sure what's going on
Some
exactly
Georgia
there.
stuff going on in here.
It's back at 204. All right, well, let's see if it stays there. Are Americans still facing affordability concerns? Only 6% say no. 33% say yes, but it is rapidly improving. And then 60% say yes, Americans are still facing affordability concerns.
Yeah. Hopefully the administration continues to focus on it the way they have been, and especially if these peace talks between the United States and Iran materialize this week. Very exciting news that we opened up the news day with today. Maybe we'll get back to focusing on these domestic economic issues and giving the American people more opportunity to succeed. Don't go away. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk. Next.
America, sweetheart.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Ethos.
That income tax refund can be the gift that keeps on giving. You can use it to start an emergency fund.
And just put it there, maybe in a high yield savings account where you're earning, 4 to 5%.
Bill Ulivari of Senecal Capital Management says you can always use that tax refund to pay off any outstanding balances.
Make the effort to pay down that credit card.
Plus, you can invest it. I'm Rob Hart.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
It's time for you to get to know my friends at Lit Cigar Lounge in Chester.